walked through the woods after beating the two new people and fighting off some. Does anyone remember the creature name?
I do.
Vamplifs.
The vampire bear.
Vampilf sounds categorically better, but it's technically Vampilf.
Vampilf? How do you spell that?
Actually,
vampire. I'd like to fuck.
MILF?
No.
Yep. That's correct.
Vamp YLF.
Oh, why?
Vampire you like to fuck.
Oh god.
Oh. Twilight?
Gross.
Anyway, you guys.
If you're a grown-ass adult and you want to fuck somebody from Twilight, I have many questions for you, and I think there might need to be some therapy involved.
Well,
are you about to say that you have a crush on Jacob or
no.
Edward, Joe?
no,
That's what
I'm
that
not,
sounded like.
No, I was trying to.
It's Alice, isn't it? It's Alice, isn't it?
Joe, what team are you on?
No. Oh god, no. I hated Alice. Listen, I read all of them. I'm not ashamed.
I think pretty much everybody in our fucking generation read all of them.
I flipped a signed copy of New Moon for like $600 once.
Nice.
Motherfucker.
Damn.
Wish I could have gotten in on that shit. Anyway, you guys found a lighthouse.
This is a lighthouse?
Yes. So, if you recall, last time there was the Vampilfs attacked a caravan of explorers from the Explorers Guild. Enter one of the mercenaries hired to help the explorers get there safely. And the explorers were on their way with a notable Lorelei Delane in their crew. Were on their way to some location, some ruins, which this may be them. The only one who would really know would be the person who penned out the expedition, which would be Lorelei. But the Vampilfs separated the group and chased one to where you guys were and chased the other further like northwest. And as you guys were you guys decided to follow after in that direction, opting to not yet investigate whatever building had a fire going. And in this direction, you found a lighthouse that had been conspicuously plopped here as a result of weirding, from decades ago. And you can see, like, I don't know, if you zoom all the way out, I can show you, like, the tower is way up here. I don't know if you see where my little cursor is going mental.
Yeah, I see you. That is way the fuck up there.
Wow,
The actual lighthouse tower is way up here.
So this is like a top-down perspective?
Yes, this is a top-down perspective.
Oh.
And that's why there's nothing about what you're looking at right now that's like, oh yeah, this is clearly a lighthouse, because you can't see the lighthouse.
I see darkness.
Yes, and
we see the dark house.
Generally speaking, the rest of the lighthouse that you're kind of looking at is pretty thoroughly wrecked. Like this, it's not in good, like it's in a very like intense state of disrepair. The buildings, or what remains of the buildings here, are kind of bent inward at the ceiling. Some walls seem to be crumbling in areas. The only thing that's really apparent is the tower itself, which is still standing, like easily, let me see, like 100 feet high, maybe a little more, give or take. But the tower it's up there. It's not a light, of course, but it doesn't look nearly as decrepit and destroyed as most of the rest of the ruins here. But you guys approach these ruins here, and there's like obviously these old doors that are set in. But what do you all do?
I'm following the rest of these guys.
I mean, if there was the hint of like Lorelai's in there, fucking good luck stopping Willow.
Yeah.
Is
Do
there?
the doors like appear to be open?
It seems like these ones, when you walk up to them, they're not open, but they're not very obviously shut. These ones are so kind of bent and broken that you could push them and they would bow inward and just kind of swing open.
Mm.
You're free to move wherever you like, but it's going to be on y'all to explore. This area is very, for the forest at least, is very mushy. Like there's a small pond slash, like kind of like a bog. It's not a huge body of water, but it's big enough that it would be kind of annoying and tedious to get around, or get through.
Would taking us off of grid fuck up anything?
Possibly.
Okay.
Why? What do you want to try?
Well, it's more of just like if we're doing actual movement exploring, I find grids to be really fucking annoying. But if it's gonna fuck up something, then it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, we got to do grid.
So, I think Willow would have just enough capacity that she would go up, like touch the door, pause, look over to Maddie. You don't happen to smell anything, do you?
Maddie had lifted her leg like she was just about to kick the door in. Kind of.
I dead ass thought you were going to say lifted her leg like she was just about to take a piss, like a dog.
No!
Like a dog?
Yeah, dogs with their little leggy.
She looks like she was just about to kick, like, just stomp her foot in to get the door open. And she kind of, like, not tumbles, but, like, hops back a bit to stop herself. Good question.
We've come up on a very funny reality here, which is that Aang is a rogue. And I cannot for the life of me figure out how she would dismantle a trap.
No, that's why you have Willow.
She just
Okay,
kind of
good.
bonks it and it stops working.
Yeah,
Asking it nicely would be very funny.
She prays at it.
And Maddie, you wanted to try and smell for some stuff?
Yeah.
Give it a little whiff. Go for it. Give me a perception roll, or survival.
I think they're the same. I have to reopen them. Survival or perception? Yeah, perception is better.
Mm-hmm.
Roll.
Every time I open up, I forget our numbers got teeny.
And I don't know if imprecise scent does anything for this, but
it does. I'm going to say that imprecise scent, for one, it allows you to just blanket check for intruders in most situations. But just by virtue of sniffing the air, for another, I will also give you that it will lower the difficulty of this by 2. So you, with a 19, you give it a good whiff. First thing that you notice for sure, there are definitely bloodsuckers, more vampilfs, or maybe ghouls. It's hard to tell. It could be one, the other, or both. But you can smell blood, and you can smell that leathery hide.
well, I can tell you one thing for certain. There's a bunch of leeches in there.
Oh, and question here, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Winter or summer in this thing?
This could still be summer if you wanted summer.
So she smells bloodsuckers. Anything else?
For smelling anything else, it's either ghouls or vampilfs. But other than that, actually, yeah, with the 19, you can also smell that there's not recently. It's stale, but there's black powder that was fired in the air. You know the scent of burned black powder.
So,
And
God.
the other question I was going to ask too, the scent did lead this way, right? Something similar to
Yes.
Willow's scent. Yeah, okay.
For sure.
I
Okay.
mean, besides what I've already told you, I think I smell gunpowder.
Shall we proceed onward then?
What were you saying, Kira?
I was going to ask you if you have trap finding as a feat, because otherwise, the way that I'm looking at it, we can use the search activity to find a trap,
Mhm.
and then thievery to disarm it.
Yeah, it's basically perception check and then thievery check.
And then thievery check, yeah. I've got a 6 in thievery. I'm trained in it.
I do not have the feat. No.
All right. But do you have thievery?
No, but I also very much think I should be allowed to use crafting to do some bullshit if I want to.
I would be willing to let you try with crafting.
Mhm.
The important thing is that you still have, if you have a good enough perception, you can find traps.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have
Well-
a solid perception, and then I have a +8 in crafting. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we should search the door.
Aang better say that before Willow opens it, because Willow's not gonna open it.
Not if Maddie kicks it open first.
Oh God! Oh God!
Aren't any visible windows, right?
The only thing that really is a visible window is it's like right here. There are these. They're not even windows. They're more like parapets. They're little slits carved into the stone wall.
Mm.
And I don't know if they actually provide vision, but poking, if you were to stand in the wood in the bushes here and like poke your nose, like press your face basically right up to the hole, you could maybe see inside. It's a bit difficult. But there's no visible windows. The architecture here is ancient.
Sorry.
Like this is
Didn't mean to do that.
old.
Okay.
Is there anything else like in the area, or is it just this lighthouse?
The woods kind of part around this. There's a clearing, and then there's the little bit of swampy, like pond area, and then this lighthouse. So, if the scent leads here, it seems like it might be this lighthouse. Which there are two buildings. There's the actual lighthouse itself, and then there is the lighthouse keeper's building, which is in the very back on like a little chunk of land.
Aang, as the others are approaching the door, will lightly try to, swoosh on in. Allow me to these doors examine. And she will try and look over the doors.
Before you do, it's only fair. Because Maddie was mid leg lift to punt the door in. Make me a reflex save to get in between Maddie's like cocked back leg and the door.
Gotcha.
If you fail, you won't get kicked.
17.
The 17. And Maddie, what's What is your claw attack?
What? It's like the bonus or just roll it?
Just the bonus.
The bonus. Why did I close this? It is basic claw. Oh, sorry. I see that. Strike +6.
+6?
Yeah.
Okay, with a +6, Aang is able to slip right up to you right before you kick your foot through the door again.
It's like the Dragon Ball Z like teleport sound happens.
Patty again hops back on the other leg, trying to steady herself. Like, oh, come on.
It would not do for a trap to spring upon thy leg, Madigan.
Eh.
Not only that, you might kick a hole through it, and it might hurt you. These places are very dangerous for multiple reasons.
You'd think a door would hurt me.
If it falls on you, yes. You might actually break your leg. That's happened to somebody once.
Yeah, no. I highly doubt that.
13.
And for a 13, I'll tell you for free, on a 13, this door looks old as fuck. And if there's any sort of trap on it, it would probably be pretty obvious. Like the door is not held on very securely.
Aang will nod, look up to Maddie. Destroy to thy heart's content.
Stunk.
Willow just
You-
calmly opens the one beside it.
Willow, you roll me a perception check or a crafting check for you, Willow. Maddie, your
Take a step
foot
back.
goes straight through the wood. Like the door doesn't move. Your foot hits it so hard and so fast, it just kicks a panel off the door.
Aw.
That's a 27 on crafting.
A 27. Willow, you go and push this door in. It's very loose and like barely hanging on. The doors are old, right? These are old, like an iron piece of clasping metal on these giant timbers, right? That's sort of the structure here. And they're hung in place by an iron what is the even hinge, like an iron hinge. And like looking at it, there's nothing about this that would just that age in and of itself would cause it to be this flimsy. Looking at this, age definitely weakened these doors and weakened the metal and like soured the timber, but they wouldn't be just randomly loose. There's something about these that seems like they were knocked loose and they kind of fell back in place.
Kind of pushes the door open and kind of watches it as it just swings. And you see the gears turning, and then a single nod, and she'll look over her shoulder back towards the more human assortment. I would suggest covering your mouth and nose while in here, just in case there's something particularly unpleasant. As she's saying that, she's pulling out a handkerchief and like wrapping it around her face.
Aang will just stop breathing.
You gotta breathe to talk.
She'll breathe when she needs to talk then.
I feel like I learn something about Aang every time. Every single time.
Hylas is like, is that woman? Is she breathing?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, fucking Paige hears that. She's like, you know what? I don't like that. But she's just gonna reach into her sleeve and she's gonna pull out a bunch of fucking handkerchiefs. She's got assortment of colors and patterns tied up in a chain, and she just starts handing them out.
Pierre will
Matt.
take one and say, "Merci."
Of course, okay. Eden, here's a blue one.
My thanks to you, Miss Angel.
So, okay, does the matter? Do you want one or do you want to? Because I have an orange. It's what's go pretty with your everything.
Why would I need it? She says as she pushes her shoulder through the door, like leaning in.
Willow just
Uh,
kind of, as Willow is like tying the knot behind her head, just kind of like is watching this very calmly. Well, I could open up one of my more unpleasant t-shirts right under your nose and explain why. But I don't think you'd like that very much.
As this is going on, Aang is leaning forward and taking 2 handkerchiefs, one for her and one for Maddie.
Aw.
Harriet gets a white one. Maddie gets an orange one. She looks at Hylas, whose aesthetic is just brown. And she looks at her handkerchief. I imagine she doesn't have a brown one. They're all really bright colors. And she's
Who would
like,
have a brown handkerchief?
exactly. She just looks at
He's
him.
got a white shirt.
Yeah,
He's
he does
wearing
have a
some
white shirt.
black.
You know what? He does.
He
You
gets a
could
pink one.
lean into the
He gets
yellow,
bright
maybe.
pink.
You know what? You're absolutely right. She is going to just scrutinize his outfit, just like, okay, what color? What color? I don't have brown. Okay, white. I already gave the white one to Herod. Yellow. Perfect. Reaches in. She gives him a yellow one. And for you?
He looks down at Paige, fully craning his neck.
Height difference.
He kind of like throws up his eyebrows and he goes, "Ooh, fan of hankies?"
Is there something like that? It's for work. But I have a bunch of them, so you can keep that one.
All right then, thanks. And he takes the handkerchief and looks at everybody else who has taken a handkerchief.
Mask up.
Are you offering one to Dee Dee?
No.
Dee Dee is
Why the
Dee
fuck
is
would she?
currently like tiptoeing and staring at Hylas, like totally enamored.
Willow just like takes note of that, like of like nothing being offered to Dee Dee. Dee Dee is focused on Hylas. Probably a problem. Problem for another day. And she's just like,
Fine.
Dee Dee, would you like a handkerchief as well? Are you good?
She like quirks up and just goes, "Huh? Oh, I'm fine." And she puts her hand under her chin and like gazes dreamily at the back of Hylas's head. Just goes, "I'm real good."
He kind of turns over his shoulder and goes, "You sure? The lady's handing them out like it's her job." 'Cause
You
apparently it is.
turn to look back at her and she immediately like, oh, and like turns and casually looks over her shoulder like, oh, what was that? I don't know. Just brushes her hair over her shoulder.
We need to protect this man.
Mm-hmm.
While this is going on, and Maddie is like trying to get through the door, Aang will uncomfortably contort herself to also get through a little bit and start wrapping it around Maddie's face.
As Willow just calmly walks through the other door.
Hylas is probably the last person to follow suit and do like put the handkerchief around his face.
Walking in to this little vestibule area, the first thing you notice is it is dusty. The air is stagnant and kind of stale and gross. It has a kind of like kind of musty, moldy smell to it. it's not a bad. It's definitely not a bad plan to have a little hanky over your mouth. The other thing you notice, and no perception rolls required for this either, there are spider webs everywhere. The vestibule is covered. There is a roof here. It's slightly dilapidated, so like little beams of light shoot through it and illuminate just how much dust and spider web is in this area. And they're not like, there's not spider webs, at normal person level, really, except on the right and left sides here. But like right where you're standing, the spider webs are all up in the rafters and the ceilings, and then up ahead, up here, the spider webs are also all in the rafters on the ceiling.
So Willow will walk in just a few feet and kind of look around and just for scientific curiosity, we'll pull out flame sprayer. Can she
Oh
ring
my
it up
god.
in such a way that like it doesn't like spray, it just kind of ignites with a light?
Yeah, sure. You can puff out a little pilot light.
To see if there's any reaction. Anything strange that happens with it.
Sure. So when you puff on a little pilot light, I'll give you a torch so it's slightly brighter. Once that pilot light goes up, you can see more clearly, since you're standing off to the side of the wall here, the spider webs that are above your head. You see that there are spider webs on the wall that are eye level, even down to waist and foot level. Like this, you could easily see like this area that you're standing in, this little vestibule, also being entirely covered from ceiling to floor in webs. But that little bit of light just kind of illuminates some of the silky threads that are at head height and below. They're gone, but sort of torn shreds remain, like something barreled through here. But simply igniting the flame also does not like alarm anything, if that's what you were looking for.
In part, yes.
So Paige is going to walk in and see spider webs, and she's going to immediately climb Pierre. And it's kind of like a piggyback thing, but like a surprise, because she doesn't like spiders. Why the fuck are there so many fucking spider webs? Are there spiders here? Where the fuck are there? Where the fuck are they? Are they on the ground? Are they gonna get her? Are they above her? Where the fuck are they? And that's what she's at right now.
Yeah, it's that the fact that there are webs around the ground and above your head and on the walls, it really does lend itself to this idea of where they could be anywhere. They could be anywhere in the room, in any crack or little nook or little dark crevice.
Gonna fucking get her. It's what's gonna happen.
Willow just kind of like tilts her head one way and the other as she's like examining things and looking around. Yeah, it seems like something came through here very recently and likely very quickly for as much of the web as it took out.
Eden pulls out some canvas and a pencil. All right, leave the mapping to me.
Willow just kind of dips her head a little bit. Yeah, thank you. She's gonna reach over to the like webs that are like beside her here. I'll use that fucking pilot light to just light them on fire.
What are you doing? You're going to get so angry.
Now make me a reflex save. They don't catch as like quickly as you would think. Initially, the webs, like you hold the pilot light up to it, and they start to shy away from it almost. And then once the fire touches them, they dissolve very quickly in like a sudden burst. But
that's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. So on a dirty 20, you will take half damage, but as you burn a little bit of the web away, I'm going to roll one of these. You don't take any damage. They rolled too low.
Better to trigger
Yay.
this bullshit at the start of this rather than later when it's too late.
So you hit that, and immediately, like a spider the size of a $50 lands on your hand.
Aren't you the one
And
that's
it
like,
is-
hey, no spiders in the campaigns?
See, I don't.
think it's
This
okay
is
if
this is
he
okay
controls
because
the
there's no
spiders.
minis. Listen, it's the visual. It's the visual that gets me. But there's like arachnophobia trigger warning. I guess I don't know if that applies to anyone but me, for the most part. But a spider, a sizable spider, though still technically like mundane in any non-fantasy setting, lands on your hand, and it goes to bite you and like snap at your glove, but it can't get through the leather.
Just shake it off and stomp it.
You shake it off and stomp it, and then when you like kind of turn back up and your head raises, you can see that there are dozens of them all over the walls where my cursor is. They are all over the walls and all along the strands of web. Now that you have pissed them off, they have come out in droves, but none of them are like fucked up sized.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's just, again, very, very calm through that. Even with the spider like landing on her, it's just like, eh, and shakes it off.
Get off.
Yeah.
Didn't say you could do that.
And then sees all the like beady eyes in the fire. It's like, oh, this is going to be more unpleasant than I thought.
You're going to die.
You're not going to die.
No, the spiders are going to get us.
Well, you could
It is not
just
so.
stay outside with whatever's going to hunt you in the woods.
It is not so uncommon for spiders to lay claim to these places. But unless there's a giant one, I doubt there will be in any danger.
Joe,
Mhm.
would it be possible for Aang to pluck a spider off the wall and eat it?
If and only if you
Also get
fail
one for Willow to put in a jar.
you can pluck a spider off the wall, but it will bite you. It will count as failing your dex save.
I have so many questions on what kind of.
I will accept
Sorry.
this. I will accept this.
Okay.
Well, that is
So-
happening. Can I also roll a detect magic?
You can. You get a tap on your shoulder though, Willow, as this is happening, and Summer pops up just very briefly and just goes, could you take a step back? Yeah, there's she points up. There are spiders directly above your head, and they are lowering themselves down.
Willow, you just see like Willow goes from like just examining things, kind of hears Aang moving, looks over at Aang, then looks straight up, and then a click of the tongue and a step back. I don't like this.
And Aang, you are going to take
1 damage.
1 damage as you. How do you get a spider that will retaliate with a single chomp?
Bites her back.
I feel like she realizes there are spiders. She starts looking around, and she's not particularly hungry, but there's this sort of reflex of, oh, I should probably eat something that happens. And I think that she reaches out and plucks one off the wall with a surprising speed. Just all of a sudden, her hand moves all at once and she's plucked the thing, and she holds it up for just a second, mutters something to herself. And as she's muttering something to herself, this one manages to bite through her gloves. This one ate its Wheaties. But then she just chomps it.
God
Very casual.
Christ. Maddie and Hylas, are you guys doing anything as you guys are moving in? Seeing all these gross fucking spiders.
First of all, I think he's very politely looking at Aang out of the corner of his eye. Not gonna say anything.
She's eating this the way that somebody would eat like a taco.
Crunchy?
Yeah.
Horrifying.
First a burrito, now a taco. I think Maddie's trying to reassure Paige, being like, they're just spiders. I've crushed things way bigger than this. Come on, don't worry about it. It's not.
True.
not
Maddie, the biggest spider you've seen when hunting with Hawk at one point, you have seen a spider the size of a terrier.
See, didn't we just hunt spiders that use trees as their fucking
tree
base?
spiders.
I don't
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
I imagine Maddie is going on talking about, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's nothing. You should have seen the one who, like, telling great stories, trying to be reassuring. Probably not helping.
Probably not helping, because Paige was there. Paige fucking hated that day. She got covered in a web.
Pierre doesn't want to interrupt you, Maddie, but he's looking at Paige and he's looking back to you and he's like trying to do the please stop talking motion because it's only going to make her upset, but he doesn't want to interrupt. So he's like,
While this is going on, can I don't know, I want to look around at the surroundings, the floor, and see if anything looks kind of recently disturbed.
Yes.
You know, it looks really dusty and cobwebby.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check. Or if you have like a lore for any type of specific thing you'd want to look for that you might think could apply.
I'm thinking, I don't know, something more along, well, actually, let me see. You said perception?
Mm-hmm. And Willow, your detect magic. Looking around and doing a quick detect magic of the area, Summer like appraises very calmly, like, well, they're not magic spiders, they're just gross. But seems mundane. At least, you know. And she just kind of waves, mundane as it could get.
Yeah, my perception's actually not bad.
$16?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like kind of just looking around the room and appraising the room as it is, Hylas. Once you get to about the middle section here, you can see that the vestibule area, this was like a domed structure, or like the roof kind of steepled upwards. So the rafters in this middle section are a lot higher, so the webs don't come all the way down. And there are holes there, so you can see webs above you. But just looking around here, you can see that there are chairs that are kind of pushed off to the side, and you can see the tatters of web that barrel through here. And across the way, the doors have been slammed open. It's very clear evidence that something charged through this area. Something big, or at least big enough to need to use the space of two full-sized doors. You could guesstimate that its height was about 5 to 6 feet off the ground, and it was running.
Okay. I think he kind of paces forward, stroking his chin. I think a thoughtful expression on his face would be quite noticeable. And he goes, looks like someone or something came barreling through here not too long ago. About yay high, maybe? And
You could
he holds
also
his hand out.
probably assess. You could also probably assess that it's about 5 to 6 feet wide too, wider than a person.
Wow.
Damn. Okay. Minecraft block.
He holds out one hand and goes, about yay high. And then he holds out another hand, about yay wide.
Ring any bells personally. Suppose we'll find out what it is soon enough.
There's a lot of big things out there.
Can I assess, like, okay, so the narrative that I'm concluding here is whatever this was barreled through, and the
Mhm.
chairs were knocked out of the way?
The chairs, they must. You're not sure how, like, if they have any relevance here. They may have been damaged or destroyed long ago, because looking over at them, they are covered in web. They seem to be untouched. They may have just been destroyed from something much longer ago, or I can't fucking do words.
I get the gist.
Mm-hmm. But they are not involved in whatever barreled through this direction. Though you can't imagine that if they were in the way, they would not have lasted very long.
Okay.
Gonna keep on kind of meandering along. She will pull out a little jar, and if she manages to see a spider low enough that she can just snag it in the jar without touching it, she's going to do so.
Why?
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me another reflex check. And how are you? Do you care what kind of spider, or just any of them in this room?
Just any of them, they're close enough.
Mhm.
She's making, again, she's trying to do it without, like, having to, like, pick it up or anything. Just, like, scoop it immediately. Close the lid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is a 18.
An 18. On an 18, if you're using like a jar and lid to keep it separate from you, you can catch a pretty modestly sized nightmare creature and bottle it. You don't even have to make a damage roll. I'm not going to describe it because I hate them and the way they move.
Snatches one up.
You have a spider in a jar.
Lifts it to, like, look at it a little bit closer for a second, and then sticks it in the bag. Keeps
How
going.
big are these things?
The spiders,
Mhm.
they range in size. There are ones that are like the size of your palm, from the base of your palm to the end of your finger. There are ones that are the size of your thumbnail, and everywhere in between.
I also have a question about
Mhm.
the possibly 5 to 6 feet wide thing. Am I speculating that that is, like, body mass, or is there room to interpret that that's, like, arm span?
You would be. It's hard to tell precisely, but you would guess like body span. You're thinking of something that's like maybe. I mean, I said barreling forward. Bear shaped would be not inappropriate here.
Okay.
A bigger, broader bear.
All right. I think he kind of mutters to himself, standing directly behind Paige, not really talking to anybody. Spiders ain't much of a problem, but bear.
He says that behind Paige.
Yeah.
Paige will turn around as if she is personally fucking offended.
He looks down clueless.
What's the spiders are the biggest problem? The close and they move so wiggly and but not the bears. A bear could be befriended because they're fluffy and they could be nice sometimes. And you can see something they won't sneak up on
I see little hell creatures.
Mm-hmm.
you.
As you guys walk out in this area, I need everyone who is close to the bridge, so everyone but Pierre, to make me a will save.
Arguing about spiders and bears.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
That's a 21.
Sorry, that's everybody
21.
except 2 for will saves?
Not the one, boss.
Everyone who's on the bridge here.
Okay.
And a 9. So, no, only Willow surpassed.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's not one.
So,
Ouch, Eden.
tell me something that and you don't have to say it out loud, you can DM it to me, but tell me something that your character is powerfully insecure about.
This is a thinker.
Mm-hmm.
About themselves?
About themselves, yeah, something that they are insecure about themselves, either their appearance, their ability, maybe something they did in the past, maybe something they have yet to do.
That from all of us, or just
Only the ones who failed.
And everyone
you don't
failed?
have to.
Yeah.
No, only
Eden,
these
and,
3.
Yeah, Maddie.
Okay.
Because the rest of you are too far away. You guys are going to probably have to make this roll, so you need to be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also a caster, so I think your will should be high.
You think that?
Yeah, it's okay.
I think Aang is horrifically insecure about her very many abandonments, and how often that's happened to her. And I think that there's a part of her that worries that she's going to be abandoned again, no matter how much Maddie might protest otherwise. There's still this very small insecurity of one day she's going to see me in a way that she doesn't like, and all of this will fall apart and I will be all alone again.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
So, as you are all walking out this way, looking at the ahead, where these doors, even across the bridge, also seem to be bashed open. The chains that hold this bridge, or would have raised it in the past, seem to be broken, and the bridge is now permanently laid flat, connecting these 2 areas. As you're moving, you hear like what sounds like a crow caw, and you hear it again, but then it follows by a click, like a clearing of the throat, like caw, caw. Murderers, looking for blood, innocence. And then the fluttering of bird wings. And as you look around and try to find the source of the noise, you can see that there are these bird-shaped creatures. Though instead of, I will show you the picture close up. Instead of a bird head,
Hello.
they instead have the head of a baby.
Oh God!
That's good.
Wow.
They look at
fucking
you.
Drakengard shit out here.
Okay.
I was
Uh,
gonna say,
I'm gonna close that.
it's kind of giving Emil a little bit.
A little bit.
I posted many moons ago about this creature. They are called cherubs.
And Herod hates this.
Not these fuckers.
Mm-hmm. Maddie, you know about these creatures. They are a bane to hunters because they are like psychic pests. They will
No.
root around in your brain and find shit that you care about and talk to you about it until you
No,
go crazy.
that was literally in character. I'm sorry.
And they're just flapping around, looking at you, snickering and giggling. Just little poor violent creatures. Only blood. One of them spits, like in disgust.
Eden will slowly put away her naginata and draw her katana, and then she like flicks it so like the tip opens up to a gunpoint.
Hey,
damn.
whatever you guys do, ignore these things. Try not to listen to them.
So you're saying we should not kill them?
Oh, no. 100% kill them. But if you kill one, 3 take the place.
So in other words, we
They-
should ignore them.
They tiptoe to side, like kind of do the little bird hops as they're on a ledge. They're about 10 feet, maybe like 12 feet up, looking down at you. And their eyes are like beady and glow. They don't have pupils. But they continue to taunt you, saying like, violent creatures. Only death. Kill their problems.
So, well, I was just like, is watching these things very unimpressed. I imagine she's never encountered them before, but I imagine that they are a common issue with the hunter. She's at least heard a story or two.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of like tilts her head and hands still wrapped around her gun, just kind of like holding it straight up, still with essentially the little pilot light acting like a torch. She just kind of like readjusts her fingers, and with the readjusting of her fingers, she'll cast Tanglefoot underneath these birds.
Okay.
So
Okay,
they're
what do they have to roll?
stuck. See here. Defense is their AC.
AC. They don't have a lot of AC.
So I guess that means I need to spell attack. Let's see. 21.
21. Which two are you going to target? Because they're in 2 groups. I will let you target one of the groups.
I guess the one's over here first. And if these guys don't fuck off, she's going to cast it again over there.
You cast it on them, and one of them is about to like hop and reposition, and as it does, the roots come up and tangle around. It's at this point you notice that their feet, they're not like crow's feet. They are like upturned infant arms that spring out of their hindquarters, like they're walking on hands. And as you do that, they immediately, like in a horrified like realization, they turn into more ferocious animal versions of themselves, where their features stay the same, but they're squawking and cawing like angry trapped birds, freaking out, wanting to fly away. They're both stuck in place. And as soon as they do that, these other ones like start to panic, and they look at each other and they look back to you guys, and they start to fly and flap and go away. And as they are leaving, they just continue taunting, saying like little whispering things, just like evil, violent creatures, hateful, death, kill.
I guess we should simply move on then. Yes.
Aang is looking. She's quiet, but she's looking pretty. I don't know if shook is the word, but she did not like that. She did not like that one bit.
As you get closer, these two that are stuck in place, they look down towards you, Aang, and towards everyone passing, but it feels very pointed to each of you. They look at you and they just like like clawing at you, like almost calling for freedom or like to spit hatred at you.
Can Paige? You know what? I don't like these things.
Mm-hmm.
Can she use ghost sound to call back at
Sure. Yeah.
just like more like another call. It's like right near them that's like louder, kind of right in their face.
Mm-hmm. You and Hylas make me will saves, by the way.
Yeah.
You can still do your ghost sound. The will save will not prevent you from doing that, even if you fail.
Got a 19.
19 will get there.
Okay.
19
And a 19
also.
will get there.
Twinsies! I also rolled a 15. No, I rolled a 14 actually. Let's go.
Yeah, so you ghost sound to just call really loudly back at them.
And it's just like it's like a auditory flipping the bird
Mm-hmm.
as she walks past.
Joe, please tell me there's some kind of rubble on the floor. You know,
Yeah,
something.
there's little bits of rock. There's actually even bits of like broken pieces of chain from the chain that once held the bridge up.
So like this size, like softball, baseball size kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not baseball size, but pretty close.
Yes, yeah, handheld.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, Maddie's gonna throw a piece of rubble at him. Try and dome him.
Go for it.
What kind of roll is this?
It will be a standard ranged attack roll, which would be your dexterity plus your if you go to your proficiencies, dexterity plus your simple weapons attack bonus.
Simple weapons. Okay, so 2 plus dex. It's a 4. Okay. So D20 plus 4.
Mm-hmm. 18
22.
for a 22. Yeah, so you dome one in the head. It's not going to do a heck of a lot of damage, but they also don't have a heck of a lot of health. You throw it at one of the cherubs that's clawing at you very like violently, and it like the rock just cocks it in the side of the head, and it bleeds like a person, but it looks at you and caws. And when Willow does the Tanglefoot let loose?
Well, she's not letting them go until they are beyond them.
Okay. So that the rock hits it, and this thing, it looks at you, Maddie, and it like reaches for a deep pull, and they're not like incredibly wise or salient creatures. These are pests, but it reaches for a deep cut, and it will say something, and like it caws, and in between caws, it says, "Your mother hated you."
Ooh.
Nasty.
Eden's just gotta go and open their door.
Door's already open.
Oh, so she's going through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Aang-
Someone better hold her back. Someone better hold her
yeah,
back.
I'm on it. I think that Aang, who had previously been does not like these things. Just the posture where she's got her lip raised the whole time, teeth bared, sort of low hissing, hears this and just flipped, no longer in her own feelings. I think she shifts the scythe to one arm and wraps the other around Maddie and starts trying to walk with her out toward the door immediately, and tries to let out a sigh as if a relief, and looks at Maddie. Now I know that thou art telling the truth. Yes, these things are but a nuisance. Madigan, come along.
I imagine Maddie had like literally doing the like, you want to say that again kind of like posture of like beefing up
Fight
kind of
me.
thing.
I'll be the
Yeah.
first.
What I
And
love
Aang-
is Maddie's the one who's going like, okay, guys, watch out. This is what these birds do. They suck. What the fuck did you just say?
What the fuck did you just say about me, you
Look,
little shit?
Little shit.
I'll let you know.
Look, he has
Do
the
as I
knowledge.
say,
He
not as I
doesn't
do.
have the intelligence. Okay.
No longer.
Aang is being extremely doting as they walk, though.
Fucking. God, I hate those fucking. Ugh!
You start like as you guys are pulling away, you just hear the distant, frustrated like caws and cries. It was like, "Hate you, kill you, die, hate you."
Ghost sound of water drowning those bitches out. Fuck those guys.
In the back of the party, Hylas just kind of makes a little grimace. He goes, ugh.
Ew.
Hylas is eye level with them, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put my sword away, return to my Naginata. Oh, this is a wide open space.
Yeah, just your footsteps echo throughout this like stone hallway here. This area is destroyed. It is in shambles of like just a distant memory of what it used to look like, and is all that remains of this place. Wholesale parts of the roof are caved in here, completely caved in, where openings now show you the outer, like the sky above, and the the light that's fading beyond it.
If I could, I'd like to see if I can sort of track what I was picking up on before.
Yeah, go ahead and make me another perception check.
Yeah.
$16. So, Hylas,
Hi.
you're looking around here on the ground, and there's no blood or any obvious like battle marks that you can tell. At least not in the immediate entrance right here. But like what there are that you can see, there are tiny scores in the rock. Like they're hair thin. If you weren't looking for them, you probably would have just walked right over them. But these thin scores, it looks like there's a pattern to it, or at least a shape, and the shape looks like that of a clawed foot, like something on claws running through this area, looking to get as much traction as possible, like a predatory chase. And it's going straight ahead north.
Yeah, I think Hylas sort of squats down, which is very jarring given the height. Sort of like traces his finger over like some of these like
Dee Dee squats
spores.
beside you. You know the Spider-Man meme?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dee Dee squats beside you and like puts her knees together and puts her hands on her knees and is just looking at you, looking at the thing.
I think he looks at Dee Dee and just kind of smiles like, oh, hi. And then looks back at the scoring. But yeah, I think that's gonna be he points out the claw marks. Is it looking like it could be more vampilfs? Like this is where the vampilfs
Mhm.
occur?
So there's something. It does seem like all of these signs point to, or could point to, vampilfs. That's certainly plausible.
Okay, and the direction is like north
Going
where everybody's
north.
heading?
Yeah, they're heading north. And even without rolling, you can see that there are scorch marks on the ground in certain spots, as if someone was shooting or throwing explosives at something.
How fresh are these scorches?
They are certainly not nearly as old as the rest of the ruins here. These are hours old at best.
Can Paige do the psychometry thing?
Psychometry? Yeah. What do you want to try?
Just kind of just reading the vibe
Uh-huh.
of the room, and like I don't know, maybe like particularly like intense scorch mark. Kind of just runs her finger through it, picking up some of the soot.
Mm-hmm. So what specifically does psychometry say?
I can't. Oh no! Don't close it.
The little symbol, yeah.
Yeah.
Psychometric resonance functions similarly to detect magic. Yeah, okay. So which scorch mark are you touching? You have to pick.
You know what? This one has a little hole in it. I'll go with that one.
Okay. So you go over to this one, and you like bend down and trace your fingers around the little scorch. When you touch your fingers to it and trace the scorch, you get a flash in your head of like panicked, panting, and like running. Primal fear, like fear of being chased, fear of death. The hallmarks of prey. And you can see, like, again, because you're not really getting like a strict visual, you're getting just the the psycho readings of whatever was touching the object. There's a moment where there's like a glimmer of hope as you find, like, it's like reaching into a bag and finding something, and then feeling a little bit of hope, and then the expenditure of that hope in throwing, and then the reading stops. Whatever happened after that, the remnant of what you're seeing is kind of hard to read because it was destroyed.
Okay. Paige doing her own little squat over this little soot mark. Just
Taps you on the shoulder and just goes, what are you doing?
Nothing.
He narrows his eyes. You're not doing magic again, are you? He speaks in French.
She. Oh, sorry. You said he speaks in French?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he asked, are you using magic again? Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and Paige just. I imagine she tries to just shake her head, no, and lie at first. I was like, what? No, I would never, ever, ever. But she just sighs and responds in French. Look, it's something that's useful that could help us find Willow's sister. I'm not just gonna not use it.
He has like such a fatherly looking frown, such a like, you know how I feel about that magic. But he doesn't say anything. He just kind of frowns at you and then looks over his shoulder a little bit, trying to not appear as though he's checking for listeners, though it's very obvious he's checking for listeners. And he'll turn back and he'll say, fine, just don't do anything dangerous. Willow?
Kind of kneels down beside the first scorch mark, kind of runs a finger through the soot and examines it. Can she figure out anything from the soot? Is it at all familiar to her?
You can roll me crafting. You can also roll survival or any other potentially relevant skill here, but I think crafting is probably the one that would be the most Willow.
23.
23. On 23, you reach down into the black powder, and it's not the black powder remnants like the scorch marks that really tip you off. What tips you off is that when you touch a finger to it, part of it moves. Like it like shifts underneath something, and you realize there's a bit of shrapnel tucked underneath the scorch marks, wedged into the rock below. And you pick up that little piece of shrapnel, and you are almost dead certain that this is one of many explosive devices that you have made, which you have on occasion given to Lorelei, because Lorelei goes into dangerous situations, and she has promised you on good faith, which is usually faith where her fingers are crossed behind her back, that she will give them to the professional expedition goers who are trained in weapons so that they can keep her safe.
And roll. That's a nat 1, so yeah, Willow picks up that piece of shrapnel and immediately frowns, and she just curls her fingers around it, and the explosions are going in the northward manner. Yes.
Yes. The only one that's the outlier is over here.
Where?
Right
Okay.
I think Hylos is following the scratch marks that he's like picking up.
Mm-hmm. What you see, I'll tell you right here, I couldn't draw it, but like right where you're standing, Willow, you do see a blood trail going into this room here. Let me draw a little line.
Willow just like fingers curls around the shrapnel, stands up, and just starts moving very briskly, not even talking to anybody anymore.
How tall
I'm
is
gonna
this pile of rubble?
How tall is that pile of rubble? It's about 10 feet high.
Okay.
Was this door locked?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm drawing it in one contiguous line, not because that is how it appears perfectly, but that is like effectively the way to follow it.
there any
But
seeming direction, like it was being dragged northward or dragged westward?
it's well, roll me a summer lore check, Willow.
That's a dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, as you walk up, and this blood trail, it's not like bright red. It's not very apparent that it's here until you get really close to it, because this big pile of rubble kind of obscures the top part of it and this other part of it. But once you get close enough and see it, you kind of look up and down and you think about, like, okay, well, which direction is whatever being dragged? Summer appears beside you. Camera pans and Summer is just suddenly there, standing next to you, and she kind of rubs her chin and says, "You know, if I were an animal from the woods and I found my prey, I would take it to a secluded place." And she points through the door, saying that it took him that way.
Willow just kind of glances at Summer. Doesn't even nod this time. Summer would know. She's pissed. She has moved beyond intellectual curiosity. Just about face, starts walking.
Now, once you get through here, roll perception checks, both Eden and Willow.
Damn Willow, you really should let somebody else lead.
You can either keep up or you can shut up at this moment.
That is very rude.
Yes, well, my sister is missing, and those were her explosives. That was a 22.
A 22.
Iris, let's move into the room. Iris!
With a 22 and a... Eden, you don't hear this, but you can see the reaction on Willow's face if Willow makes reaction. But Willow, you hear what sounds like voracious chewing.
Oh.
Like the snorting, like pig noises of nose and meat. Perception checks from Bird Crew.
Immediately, as she's like, "Oh, those were my sister's explosives," hears that, like, cuts off her last word, and the pilot light clicks out, and she aims the gun.
Ang and Maddie, you can also hear it.
From
You're saying
destruction,
Eden.
was it? From destruction, was it?
About.
She's gonna slowly progress forward.
Can I try and sneak ahead?
You right here, Eden, where you're standing.
Hello?
That is I hear you. That is the threshold for a stealth check.
Okay.
Ang, if you would like to rush up ahead, you can try. It's up to Eden if Eden wants to stop there or wait.
I would just keep going. So hurry.
Well, okay. I will roll a stealth check.
Yeah.
I think I need to switch to physical dice.
Yeah, that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I will take that L.
You have a hero point. You have a hero point.
I do have a hero point. That seems pretty important, so I'll use it actually, and I will switch to my physical dice. Thank you.
I will even give you. I need to be more conscientious about it. I will give Willow. I will give you 1 hero point for being like a bit overly reckless in pursuit of your family member. I will give Hylas a hero point for being as close to Detective Hylas as you can get without being a detective.
Mm-hmm.
And Ang and Maddie, I will give you both hero points. 1 for Maddie for like warning everyone about the cherubs and remembering them, and 1 for Ang for pulling Maddie back.
I got a 19 on the physical, so I feel like that's a lot better already.
Yes. So, and you like, what's the word?
Dart
Not
ahead.
stealthily. It's like graceful.
Slinking.
You like swoosh up and around gracefully, and Eden, like right on your right, you don't hear the approach until she is like tiptoeing up and past you to scout ahead, but you see that tall woman.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Right there. Yes. So Aang, you get about right there, and what you can see is it is a vampilf like those other vampilfs, but it's way bigger. It is easily twice the size of the other vampilfs, and it has its nose like shoved deep into the carcass of a frog the size of possibly even bigger than it. The frog is long since dead, a complete carcass. But it doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Is it seeming to be eating the carcass, or does it have...
Yes.
Okay.
It's eating the carcass. It's like face is shoved into the shredded torso and abdomen of this frog. The bottom half of the frog is basically gone.
Joe, I have a minor correction for you. You said tiptoeing. You mean tip hoofing.
You're right. Hoofing.
Aang sees this, leans over the corner a little bit, peeks over the corner, tries to sign one big thing, and also makes like a frog hoppy gesture with her hand. Trying to convey one big thing, eating frog hoppy gesture.
I will. Who are you communicating this to? Just everyone back here?
Well, she sees Eden there first, so if she can only see Eden, then she will sign to Eden. If she can see Maddie and or Willow when she leans over, she will also like make sure to catch their eyes.
Make a performance check.
Oh my god! Joke's on you on trained in performance.
If it wasn't such a fucking weird combination of things you're trying to communicate with just signs and motions.
I got 7. That's a 7 total. I rolled a 2. I am cursed tonight.
It is. Yes, Maddie?
Is there something we could roll to translate that, maybe?
Yes. I will say if you are watching this performance, which could be the 3 in the front here, go ahead and make me a society check.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I mean, Aang knows Hawk.
Yeah.
I assume Hawk taught her some signs.
You know
Could
what?
I use hunting to roll
Hunter
this?
signs.
Yeah, that's probably not inaccurate to say. Yeah.
I would be more than willing to say that you could have there. She obviously won't know the hunter sign for vampire for vampiric creature.
Yeah.
But there's an obvious sign for like something like enemy or
danger.
A hostile or danger / dangerous creature.
There's
that
a dangerous
hand sign,
bunny?
Yeah, that's basically what you get out of it. You get like dangerous hopping thing. So like a dangerous rabbit.
Oh my god, not one of those freaking horned bunnies again.
Aang is doing her damnedest to try and make this sign with like holes in her hands and
Ooh.
the scythe in one of them.
Yeah, Maddie will relay that there is a dangerous rabbit in the room.
Willow, I need a stealth check. Hi, Weenie.
Well, considering it's a straight roll, that's good. I guess it's a 17.
17. I'm gonna be real with you, Willow. That is 1 off the DC.
Can I aid her?
No.
God damn it.
Not now, not after knowing.
Mhm.
You can re-roll it with a hero point.
Unfortunately, I have to stick with the nat 1 I got on her self-control earlier. We're already lucky that she let somebody else go into the room first. So she's just coming
Okay.
around already aiming this fucking gun at...
Valid.
Okay. Then
The chaos roll dictates
I'm
this.
I'm going to let you have that, Eden. We're going to roll initiative.
Okay. I think when Maddie says dangerous bunny,
Mm-hmm.
at least into this spot here.
Joe,
A
can
little
I
bit closer.
rehand my scythe before initiative starts?
Oops. Yes, you don't have to listen. You don't have to worry about the hand economy.
It's in
I'm worried about
shambles,
it.
Joe. It's in shambles.
Give us the freaking thingy.
All right, fucking roll some
Encountered.
initiative here.
Roll, rolly. Hylas Page.
What am I rolling for initiative? I see a bunch of them under initiative.
You go to the little cross sword thing.
Oh, okay. I was looking under the toolbar on the left. Haha.
I want.
Amy! Amy's AFK. Yeah, unfortunately, Willow is not going to be particularly controllable after finding that nice little piece of shrapnel.
I think that's very understandable.
Mm.
That's fair.
Yeah, have a good day.
And it's going to start with the Vampil's turn. Like, Willow, as you and Eden charge forward, you round the corner and you see a Vampilf. And Eden, you are easily able to clock that this thing is twice as big as any of the ones that you fought last time. It pulls itself out of this giant frog corpse and looks at you and just, and it's going to barrel into you. It's still going to take 2 actions to get there. Yeah, it's going to go here.
Good.
Actually, it's going to go. No, yeah, it's not going to have a long reach. It's going to go here, and it's coming in with the claws. Actually, I'll roll it. I need R1, 3, because all 3 of you are just as valuable, delicious targets to it. But it is going to go after you, Eden. It's coming in with the claws.
Is Eden just like Vampilf bait or something? Like, what's she wearing? What's her perfume?
I am half elf, so she can smell the blood. They can smell the blood on me, probably.
Yeah, that's perfect. I will give you a fucking hero point for that, because that's a great way to justify it. Which does mean that you're prepared for it. So as it rushes forward and rears back with the claws, you throw up the Naginata?
Yes.
Okay. You throw up the Naginata and like parry it and keep it back from clawing at you. It missed, which is going to be its turn, which Paige, it is your turn. Or wait, what? Why? Hold on. Paige, it is your turn.
Hi, sorry, I was heating up mac and cheese.
Actually, wait, I forgot to roll for. I'm gonna roll for Dee Dee and Pierre really quick. But Dee Dee will delay to go after
the frog.
To go after the frog. Dee Dee will delay until after Pierre, or until the end. There you go. Paige.
Paige is going to lingering composition. And it's going to be a performance check. Performance check. Going to be a 15 plus 8. That's a 24.
24. That is easily a success, I believe.
So is that a critical success, or is that a regular success?
You're rolling against level for DC by level, which for this level it is a DC 18, I think, which is not a crit success, just a regular success.
Okay. So she's going to cast Inspire Courage for one action. I imagine she it twists a little bit, and her little cane points towards the door. Wait, things aren't moving correctly. Foundry, why?
What do you need?
Move. And she is going to try and just so she can see the fight. She's going to get a little bit closer. So one to stride. Inspire Courage is a no action. She's going to use one more to whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
She has 2 actions that she's done so far to Inspire Courage, so everyone within 60 feet of her gets a +1 to attack rolls, damage rolls, and saves against spear effects. And she is also... Can she see this thing?
Yes, you can. If your token can see it, you can see it.
Okay. I don't think I have anything at just one... You know what? Can I do Uplifting Overture?
If you strode and Lingering Composition, does Lingering take 1 action?
Lingering is none, actually.
Oh. How do you do it?
Right, so Paige strides forward and she pulls out her cane and she kind of waves it forward. It's like, no, you've got this! And it's just kind of like this aura of like sparkles. Kind of like she unleashed a fuck ton of glitter in the area that's just, for some reason, staying very suspended in midair and very slow to fall. It's very Magical Girl-esque, honestly. With her Inspire Courage.
Inspiring Courage is the action you take, and Lingering Composition is a free part of that.
Okay, so Lingering Composition is a spell that if I cast it... Yes, it's a spell. And if I cast it, the next cantrip that I cast lasts for longer. Because Inspire and Courage only lasts for 1 round, this essentially lengthens that.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I read it
Yeah,
as a
it's
flourish to
weird.
your composition. I
Yeah,
understand.
no, sorry. It's weird. It makes her Inspire and Courage last 3 rounds instead of just the 1. And for
Gotcha.
her last action, she's going to just do Uplifting Overture and let out, like, I guess, hold up a couple, like 2 fingers to her mouth and let out a little whistle of, like, a fucking get 'em to prepare the 8 action.
How loud is the page whistle? Would it be like one of those really loud whistles?
No. She would not
No?
do that to Maddie. It's more of like a little tune, honestly.
Okay. Okay. So everyone's got a +1, and
Everyone's got a +1. And here, let me put Uplifting Overture for you. It's really just aiding an ally of her choice.
gotcha. Who you choose?
Count as having preferred the 8 act. Willow's having a rough time. Let's go with Willow.
Okay.
And that is it. I'm sorry, my first round is always weird.
No, it's fine. Don't be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You whistle out a little tune, and when you do, Willow, roll me a perception check. This is for free.
23.
23. It is very faint, but you think you hear a whistle response in a completely different direction.
Okay. Well, that means it's time to kill this thing very quickly. Very quickly. So she's already aiming her flame sprayer. She's going to flip a switch on it, which will activate the cone mode, essentially, or breathe fire. And let's see if she... fire again. I need a reflex save.
A reflex save from this one. Okie dokie. Nope, that's fortitude. I want reflex save. That's gonna be a 22.
This doesn't say separate page. Basic saving throw or basic. Okay. So I guess it takes half damage? It doesn't say otherwise. So it takes half.
Generally, it's half damage.
Body is a nice toasted 10. So it's taken
10.
5.
It takes 5, but it is a vampire. So when you light it up with fire, it immediately like hisses and recoils and will take a full 10 damage.
Oh, nice.
It has weakness 5 to fire.
Is throwing something one action?
Yeah, throwing something is, it depends on what you're doing. If you're throwing something to attack or just throwing something in general.
It'd be something to affect it.
Throwing something at it would technically count as an attack, so it would take 1 action.
My flame sprayer's 2 actions. I am very confused. So is the little like triangle is beside uplifting overture, is that 1 action or 2 actions?
0.
1.
The
uplifting
uplifting
is one.
overture is 1. Yes.
Okay. That's probably a very bad idea. That actually let me not do that one.
I want to know what it is now.
She does have a grenade, technically.
Uh
But it
huh.
is a very big grenade.
Uh huh.
That would kill this thing very quickly, but also would probably kill us.
I'd like to ask you to please not. Like, respectfully.
Please no.
Please no.
Not unless we're desperate. She will throw a Tanglefoot grenade at it then.
Okay.
So she'll throw. I don't have this on here perfectly. I will need a. I apologize.
You're good.
What's this? Bag. 1 to strike. I guess I will need another reflex.
Yes, another reflex save. Which this thing does not look nearly as agile as its smaller counterparts. That's going to be an 18. It rolled pretty good.
So it will take a status. Yeah, it'll take a status penalty to its speed for 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
A 10-foot penalty. Or if it wants to remove the penalty, it will take an escape DC of 17.
Ah, okay. So
Either
it is. It has.
escape DC of 17 or spending 3 interact actions to remove.
So using its whole turn.
They don't have to be consecutive, and other creatures can provide the actions as well, but it takes 3 actions to get it off if you don't meet the escape DC.
Yeah, that's tight. Okay, is that your turn?
Yeah, just blows it up with fire and then immediately throws something that you're not quite sure what it is before it just smacks the thing and is covered in tar, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get
Amazing.
one. I do think my sister has somewhere else in here.
Alice?
So she said, keep an eye out. You think your sister's around here?
Oh, she said, I'd like to move on.
Okay. Is it risky to start shooting through all these people?
No. You are safe to shoot into melee and whatever. You're totally fine. You're a sharpshooter.
Okay. Yeah. I'm confident in my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start blasting.
Wait.
Go blasting. Crit.
Oof.
Let's fucking go.
I love when the animations work.
So I hit the critical button.
You do.
Yay!
When you point the boastful hunter at it, you hear in your head very confidently,
Oof.
I've got the beast in my sights.
Chuck Jackson.
That's more of a Hearthstone reference for me.
Okay.
But with Holy Christ, guy! I always forget about Fatal. Jesus Christ, Fatal does so much fucking damage.
Gun crits are insane, my dude. Do you not remember Mesmine killing my son last night?
Well, there's also a +1 to that damage, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Josh, I've taken 11 damage too from the fucking fire.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
And
so
I should say that my gun does add a little bit of extra to vampills.
Yep, it does. So roll your d6.
Okay. It's just
Or
the one
it's
d6.
2d6. It's 2d6 because it gets doubled.
Okay.
Because crit.
Yeah.
Or rather, it's 1d6 times 2.
I don't just hit the d6 button twice at the bottom?
You can do one or the other.
Okay.
11. So
Damn.
is that 45, 46 damage? Well, this Vampilf, it does have physical damage resistance.
Oh.
Unfortunately, even with physical damage resistance, its fucking dome is gone. You point the boastful hunter at it, and in it, like the boastful hunter, it for a moment it feels like it's just levitating, and you're not even holding it in place. It's like suspended, erect in the air, and pointed at this thing's face, and then it just fires. No recoil, and its head and everything between the ears and above the jaw is gone. I just want to see what happens if I put 46 in. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Blood.
You paste the shit out of it. But don't get too excited.
Uh-huh.
Because at the sound of a gunshot, you awaken another thing.
Cool.
You hear a shuffling and hissing in a nearby room. Yes, Winnie, I know. She's not home yet. She'll be home soon. Sorry, Winnie's being very needy.
No.
But in a room further south, and Eden and Willow, you might be able to see it. It's very, very faint. But in this room to the south that you're already in, you can see movement in through a tiny door down here. Hylas, you still have the rest of your turn because you shot. So what are you doing? What's the play?
I believe the next thing is okay.
Do you have to reload, or do you got the thing where you don't have to yet?
I've got covered reload. Am I able to do covered reload here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would just cover behind the wall.
Okay. And then I think I can do quick draw if the thing's in range. Draw a weapon attack with the same motion.
You can, but it's very heavily obscured because I scroll down and you'll see what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
It's through here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, there's not a straight line.
In that case,
You can shoot at it, but you'll have a very high chance of just missing.
I might be good out here just doing the covered reload then.
Okay.
That being said, so the scoring that I was following in the other room, didn't it look like it was headed towards the northern door?
It did.
Yeah, I think he's gonna mention that. Yeah.
I will tell you that if the scoring was a creature giving chase, it does not account for if a creature caught something and came back at a soft pace.
Trotting.
Okay.
But you can still tell them.
So he blasts this thing's head messily off, and as he's reloading, he says, "Tracks I picked up were headed that away, for what it's worth." He
Okay.
gestures with his thumb, and I think that's his turn.
Pierre is going to run over here, and he is going to use a move. He's going to use his actions, his 2 actions, to aid you, Maddie. But for the cost of 1 action, he is going to. I'm going to roll a d20. See what his aid roll is. Hey, okay. So he is going to rush over to you and be like, "Can you please get out there and keep my sister behind something big and mean like you?" He's going to give you a 5-foot move speed buff and a +2 on your next attack.
I don't think I can hit anything next turn.
It does work on throws. If you throw your axe,
Yeet it. Yeet it.
With a hammer.
Yeet it.
Bonk.
yes, hammer. Throw your hammer. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that's his
Fair
turn.
enough.
Fucking Mjolnir.
The Van Pilf is going to go because it
Oh,
rolled
perfect.
faster than you all, and it's going to use. Hold on, it has to use 1 action to move, an action to squeeze.
To squeeze?
Yes, so
Oh,
it
okay. She's very
squeezed itself through a 5-foot doorway. So it has to like squeeze itself back out through like a cat trying to squeeze into a place that's too small for it. It kind of presses its hands on the outside of the door and pulls. It's another big one, but it pushes itself through the door, and it's going to use its next action to start charging up to you guys over this mound of rubble, but it's not going to get there. Maddie, it's your turn.
I get how close. Okay.
Yeet.
So it'd be an action to move. An
You got the
action
5
to
foot
rage.
buff, right?
Oh, I had the 5-foot buff, yeah. And then I could throw my weapon, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you have to? You're going through a wall that way.
Oh, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They'll be right here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna rage first.
Mm-hmm.
What's the button?
Here, wait, hold on. I will. What?
Grid.
Let me do it. Whatever. It's not letting me do it. Anyway.
It still says it's colliding by doing it across, so I have to do it this way. There, so it'd be there. Freaking run up and rage at this thing, scream in its face.
Mm-hmm.
Did it do the action?
Do what?
Did it do the action? I clicked rage. Yeah, okay, it did.
Yep, it did it.
Life X. Okay. And I'll freaking run and throw my hammer. Just two-handed swing over the head.
Yote the hammer.
Glad you
Okay.
say yote because I was also thinking it, but I didn't want to say yote.
Yoted.
How do I throw it then? It's again the dex plus the simple.
I will for only this action, I will let it be a strength-based throw. So it's basically a melee attack, but you throw your hammer so it doesn't come back to you.
If you throw something immediately after you rage, there could be no action in between.
Okay, so for some reason it's not counting it as it being in my hands, so I have to do it as pick up or whatever.
Yes, that's fine.
But yeah, it's an action strike.
Picks up the great hammer from the ground.
Yeet.
Wah. And how much is the bonus that he's giving?
It's a +2 bonus.
He also
Because
got
he
plus one
has-
from
from
Paige.
Paige.
Oh, so +3 total.
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, 3. That worked, right? It didn't add it. It added only 1. So I get 2 more after this, or +2 on this.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
You have a hero point.
Yeah, fuck it. I have 2 of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
They stack?
Yeah, you get
They
3. You
will
can hold
only stack to 3.
Okay,
And every session it resets to 1.
Correct.
gotcha.
15 +2 for
Plus
17.
+3.
+3 for 18. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So for it with an 18, you will hit.
Let's go.
So go ahead and roll your hammer damage.
Come on.
12
Plus 1 from Paige.
plus
I'm
1
damage
for
2.
13.
And I think I get a bonus from Rage. Double checking.
I believe you do. It seems like you do. It's a plus on or added on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it is?
already in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was a 7 you rolled. Plus your strength plus your rage. Yeah.
Sweet.
So
Nice. So you run and then 2-hand over the head hammer throw, and it sails like end over end and hits this thing square in the dome, and you hear the most like gut-wrenching crack of hammer against bone, and this thing's head recoils. It's not dead, but it is certainly like reeling from that strike. And that'll be your turn, correct?
Yep.
Gotcha. Hang.
I will take 1 move action to go here, 20 feet. And then I will take another move action to go here, 20 feet. And I'm doing it that way for a very specific reason. But I will attack after that.
Why are you moving only 20 feet?
If I move half my speed, I don't provoke.
Oh. Clever girl. Go ahead and roll your scythe.
Yeah. It's +7. So let's see what we got here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is, what the fuck is that? That's a 14 plus 7 is
A 21.
yeah, 21.
That absolutely hits. So go ahead and roll your damage.
I believe my damage on this thing is, what is it, D10?
Mm-hmm. I think.
Damage. D4. Base damage D10, yeah.
Mhm.
So D10, and I get to add my dex onto that. Where is 10? Here you are. All right. So I rolled an 8. Plus dex is 4. So 12. 12 damage.
No. Nice. You're up close to it, Aang. You're like spinning on your hoofs and like slicing it and dicing it as best you can. You can see up close this thing. It's very durable. It is like actively, or not actively, it is passively resistant to any sort of mundane physical damage that you can deal to it.
Interesting.
But you're still dealing damage to it.
Mm-hmm. That'll be it for me.
Okay. Eden.
I will take the sudden charge action.
Okay.
That lets me stride twice and attack within the same movement.
You can use sudden charge. Ooh. Okay.
So, in one movement. What the hell's going on with my sheet? Stop it. Oh, it's telling me where I want to send. Okay, I see. So I can go here. That's dope.
Okay, that was
That
pretty
was
cool.
cool.
That's really
Like
cool.
that.
I didn't know it did that.
Oh fuck! I missed it.
It was like a
It's
little dashy.
Where is it? Where's my fucking thing?
I mean, I could do it again real quick just to show. Hang on.
Oh, I would like to see. Thank God. That's so cool. Okay, thank you for showing me again. That's awesome.
Okay.
Dude, I love these animations.
Okay, but now go back to your
It's just
priest.
moving.
Mhm.
Okay.
Warp stepping.
And I will now attack as part of that action.
Huh?
Yeah. That my sheet's going like behind everything, and it's so frustrating. Get over here. Get over here. Come here. Why are you so small? I'm not on my fucking phone. How do I expand you?
There should be a little corner draggy.
No, that just moves it. What the hell?
The arrow looking one
Huh.
in the bottom right
Bottom right? What?
of the character sheet you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, the little
see
arrow looking
that.
thing in the bottom right.
Ah, okay. I don't know why it did that. Okay, whatever. Actions. Oh, can I equip my Naginata real quick? Because I said I had
Yes,
it.
Yes, I believe
Yeah,
you.
okay.
You're allowed to have your
Okay.
Naginata equipped
Okay, thank you.
for a 16 to hit. That will hit.
Oh, does being flanked do anything here?
It just makes it easier. It doesn't
Okay.
give you any bonus damage. It just makes it easier to hit for 5 damage.
Make that same.
+1 from Paige, though, right?
+1.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Make it
I want to
six.
be. I want to be here. Okay, and then I will shift my grip to one-handed because I can do that, right?
Yes, you can shift
And
to a
then-
one-handed grip for free.
And then I will grapple it.
You will go ahead and roll your athletics check to grapple it. You will take
I would like to assurance it, please.
Okay. So with assurance, you don't actually. This is something that I learned. Assurance makes the multi-attack penalty go away, which is so fucking cool. It makes attacking and then grappling like an actual mechanically good thing to do. Anyway, sorry.
Let's go.
Rant over. What is your bonus without any ability score modifiers? Your proficiency bonus and 10.
The roll total would be 18. If Paige's thing counts, then it would be 19. But I don't know if that does or not. It does
No
not.
bonuses count, but an 18 will grapple it, so it will be grappled. After all is said and done, you only managed to eke out 1 damage against it because of its resistances, but you did grapple it, which is more important.
I can't. That's my turn.
Okay, then it's Dee Dee's turn. Dee Dee is gonna charge in. We're gonna see how far she can get. It's gonna take her 3 actions no matter what. That's I'm gonna give her a slight boost of speed and give her an extra 5 feet of movement. She dashes ahead and is going to swoosh around this thing like lightning quick. That's going to be her whole turn. Paige, top of the round, since the first Vampilf is dead, it's your turn.
Okay, so that's going to be 1 round down. So I got Inspire Courage up for 2 more. From what we've seen, this thing, does it use its like mouth to attack? Does it chomp?
Yeah, it bites and it scratches.
Okay. Well, Paige is going to go ahead and. Ah, man, Pierre Lily just told her to not use magic. I'm sorry, Pierre. But there's not many people around her. You know, she's kind of in the back. It's only Pierre and Hylas behind her, and Hylas is shooting, so I mean, he probably
Mhm.
won't notice.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's ADSing, you know.
Mhm.
So he probably won't notice Paige
Wink.
kind of just squatting down slightly, as in lowering herself and kind of putting more weight on top of her cane. And she kind of puts a hand over the little pink handle, because kind of like a little pink crystal that's at the top, and she puts her hand over it to try and like hide a little bit of light that shows. And she is gonna cast Binding Muzzle on this thing to try and clamp its mouth shut.
You, with binding muzzle,
Mhm.
you start to call the magic to you, and you notice standing beside you, parallel to you in the doorway here. Actually, here, let me. Oh,
Where the fuck did you come from?
he just manifests, and he's one hand in one pocket, and he holds his other hand out towards the vampilf, and he snaps his fingers. Go ahead and cast binding muzzle.
Okay. Hold on. So it's a target. They got to make a fortitude save.
A fortitude save. This thing is pretty fortuitous.
Fortuitous.
Is
Hold on, this is
there
gonna be
something that I should be rolling to perhaps not perceive this in front of me?
No. I mean, you can. Oh, it rolled a 27. It almost nat
Fuck.
20.
Okay.
But you can ignore it only if you want to try and like, I'll just say that you're ignoring it unless you want to try and perceive it, in which case then you would roll. You don't notice, I'll tell you right now, you don't notice the mystery man who appeared and disappeared.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm interested in seeing what Paige is up to, though.
Okay. Is this gonna be like a contested roll or?
What does your the spell happen? What happens on a fail or
On
on a successful saving throw?
a success. So for one round, they can't use jaws, strikes, or any other attack that originates from the mouth. I'm just gonna put it in chat for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So success for one round, and it's a DC 16. Oh, he crit success
Motherfuck. Okay.
Oh,
because he rolled a
I bitch.
27.
Does
Sorry.
ah? God damn it. Okay. You know what? I see how it is. See how it is. Fuck this thing.
Now I don't know if this is a hard and fast rule. But I would. Do you? How many inspiration or hero points do you have?
I have one.
One.
I've only been given the
Oh,
one required at the beginning.
gotcha. I was going to say if you had two, I'd let you spend two to make it re-roll a save. But I don't know if that otherwise is how hero points work. But I don't care because
Oh
my
well.
rodeo.
Yeah.
Uh,
Spell
Can I
fizzles
So-
out,
donate a hero point to
unfortunately.
that?
Yeah, sure. I would be willing to let you use Willow's hero point in this instance, as well as your own.
Thank you, Willow.
And I will re-roll this thing's fortitude save. And that is exactly a 16.
Mother.
So It's a
Fuck.
standard success and not
All
a
right.
critical success.
1 round. Imagine it's kind of like there's this invisible like wire that just kind of wraps around it, kind of stopping it, so it has to like break it before it could
Mhm.
chomp on anyone.
Its jaw like trembles as it's trying to keep its mouth open and ready to snap shut on something, but it can't. Nice. Is that your whole turn?
I mean, I don't know what to do with the last action, so yeah, I guess.
Okay. Willow.
Well, I don't know that's gonna be useful right now. So it's just gonna be a reload, a move, and a fire. Snaps a new canister into the flame sprayer. Scoots up a little bit to get a better straight line. And we'll fire. And check my bonuses here. $22 to hit.
22 hits. Almost a crit, but not quite.
And then
Joe, is
these
that factoring in its -2 to AC that I'm giving it because it's grappled?
Yes, a 24 would have crit and not a 22 because it's AC 16.
Gotcha. Just checking.
for
Fair.
6 fire.
6 fire. Mhm. Okay. So with 6 fire damage, it also takes an additional 5 because it is weak to fire. And that is big money. So you shoot a little fireball at it, and it howls, and its fur is singed, and it smells like shit. Sweat, blood, fur that is now singed smells just foul.
That's all I got. Kill this thing, Hylas.
That's a got. Hylas.
Yeah, you know the drill. Oh, do I hang on? Okay, here we go.
That is a normal hit.
Okay. We'll take that.
Uh-huh.
And come on.
Nine damage. That's pretty good.
All right.
For 9 damage. And you also get a d6 because of the hunter.
13.
13 damage.
Plus an extra one from
It's a
Paige.
14.
Oh my
Mhm.
god, the one saved you. It has it has 9 health with resistance 5. So
Holy shit.
so with a +1,
Sparkle fell on the bullet just in time.
it does exactly enough damage to pierce whatever physical resistance it had left and pierce it. How do you want to do this with the last shot?
Let me think about this. So I think this is very standard and casual for him back here. You know, he's not a part of the frantic energy of Willow like finding her sister. And he's just like, oh, something showed up. Okay. Um so he's kind of just I don't know, shooting and reloading. Like this is the most normal run of the mill day of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one, you know, he is clearly always trying to go for the head with these things. And I do like the idea that I don't know, maybe he's straining to find the perfect angle um for this shot. And a little sparkle does like fall kind of at the tip of the rifle, and he just goes, "Oh," and he shoots,
Ah,
and it just
there.
happens to find that sweet spot that pierces the vampir's very dense hide, I guess, like
Mhm.
skull even.
Yeah. And like that bullet flies through and splits it right between the eyes. Not nearly as concaved and canoe form as you did the previous one, but serviceable still. Enough to make the boastful hunter happy. Because he just goes, yes, 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 good, more. This is positively delightful.
Oh, you're having a blast? I could hardly tell.
But that last shot rings out, and that's going to be a completely dead ass dude in the encounter. And what we're going to do,
What was the vague direction that Willow heard the whistle?
from your position, northwest.
Northwest. That way.
There is a big hole here.
Big hole where?
It did sound like it came maybe from outside.
I'm gonna fucking grab a piece of frog as go by.
She's just going to grab. What piece of frog are you going to grab?
Has she ever seen a frog like this?
Yes, but not this big.
Just a suitably sized chunk of like skin from where it's been ripped open.
Fair.
I would like to try. These look like windows up here, right?
These are more of the parapets. Yes, you could poke your head out and see if you could see through one.
I would like to do that. I'll just move up here.
Uh huh. What are you looking for? You should just be able to see with your token.
Okay.
Just move to each one and it'll shift your view.
Mm-hmm. Maddie's got the hammer. And Willow, you grab a like as you're examining the piece of skin that you got from the frog, it's partly rotted. You're not sure how fresh this is or how unfresh it is per se.
She'll figure that out later.
How wide are these parapets, you said?
The parapets are
Parapets.
they're not very wide. They are like on this side of them, they're about like a foot wide, foot and a half.
Oh.
And at the narrowest point, they get to about 4 to 6 inches wide. It's wide enough that you can aim an arrow on one side and fire it through the hole.
Okay. And just for funnies, you know, an arrow, a rifle would presumably like be the same.
Oh, yes.
Maybe.
You could absolutely shoot through one of these if you
Okay.
wanted to. Also, Dee Dee is following mostly Aang, but by association, Aang and Willow and Maddie.
Willow, Aang looks over her shoulder and just gives Dee Dee a polite nod.
She whispers to you as like we're going ahead. She's like, "What do you think of that tall fella?"
He seems kind of hot.
Dee Dee leans in real close. Again, still talking and walking with you, but whispering, and just goes, "Doesn't he look absolutely scrumptious?"
Aang considers for a moment. There is a great deal of meat on him. But but
Emergency ration.
Run, my guy.
But I would caution against dining upon his flesh, kindred.
She waves like partially dismissively and just goes, I know the rules. I'll be good. And crosses her arms. A little bit pouty, but also obviously playing it up. And as you... Yes, Willow?
As soon as Willow got here, I was like,
Uh-huh.
wait, y'all, wait. She would whistle again.
You get here and you whistle, and immediately, like before your whistle even ends, you hear a whistle from somewhere in here. There is it's hard to tell from the top-down perspective with the shadows, but this is like a little boathouse. And this part of the wall has crumbled and been like completely destroyed, reducing most of the second story into like a heap, but still enclosed, as well as this back wall being completely crushed in and blocked off. But you whistle, and the whistle being closer, you hear like, "Get me the fuck out of this fucking..."
That is when hearing the voice is when Willow just starts running. She has not run this entire time. She's just been walking with a very specific purpose, but she runs.
Hylas, you can hear this from inside. You can actually see it going on.
Yeah, I think he's presently more taken with the fact that I don't know, the party seems to be all together. Paige just walked off alone.
Aang, as she's talking with Dee Dee, starts and goes, but if thou art asking me, the finest meal within the confines is... And before she can answer, she sees Willow take off and then starts, oh, we should go, and takes off as well.
Dee Dee was so enamored, like, go on. Oh my god, this is the closest I've gotten to like dirty girl talk. Hit me, Hang. And then she just goes, oh, and then follows after. Willow, you're around the corner. Oh, sorry, Maddie, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Maddie was essentially keeping step with Willow, trying to be like, okay, she's a loose cannon right now. I'm for it. But she's also not, it's my job to protect her. So she was essentially keeping step with Willow was kind of what I was trying to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think running is that much of a difference either. So she'll break down the door if you want her to, Willow.
I feel like there's descriptions that are happening first.
Yes. Yeah, so you round the corner here, and the first thing you notice is there is a dead Explorers Guild member. Very obviously an explorer from Terramarked. Not someone you recognize, but you can tell by the attire. There's a dead Explorers Guild member. I will show you the picture of them. This is what they look like. See? He's very explorer-y.
Comfy outfit.
Very dark dungeon.
But I know. but he is slumped against the door, and you can see that there is a key in the lock, and he is completely dead. I say that there is an explorer here, but what's more apt is there is half of an explorer here. The upper half, as the bottom half has been completely removed and is nowhere to be seen. There is just a viscera trail that stretches out and back towards this door over here. Where I need to flash over to Paige really quick, because Paige, you wandered where?
So Paige went the opposite direction of the
This way?
party. Yeah, she okay, let me retrace the steps here. She was here. Fucking Pierre and Hyla started looking out the fucking windows. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go back this way.
Neither of them paying attention, just like looking out the parapet, like, ooh, look, they found a thing. Let's
like,
see.
oh look, they found.
Quick time.
Well, meanwhile, Paige goes back into this room here. She's like looking around over here too. And wait, what the fuck's that?
Mm-hmm. You see, that's why I was curious if you noticed those or not. Because when you walk back into this room, there are piles, heaps of something. They look. It looks like like little rocks. Like best you can tell, it looks like a pile of like smooth, like tiny black rocks that just kind of shuffle. Imagine
Girl,
like
do you not
a
remember
like
the previous room? Why are you heading towards it? I thought
She's
you were
going
scared
around
of
the
shit.
fucking pile. She's not gonna approach it. She's just gonna, okay, that's noted. I'm not fucking with that. She's gonna go around the rubble. And she went this way. Her little fucking little boots click clacking.
Mm-hmm. When you walk into here, you would see that there is a blood stain and a just devastating amount of gore, and you would need to make a will save for me.
Okie doke.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget what the nat one is printed as on this until I roll it. It's printed as fuck. That's a fuck. Okay.
That's a fuck.
That's a fuck. I got a 6 total.
So with a natural fuck, you walk in here, and what you see is not just a corpse, not just the remnants of a vampilf having ravaged a person to the point of being nearly unrecognizable. You see probably the least human-looking pile of meat that you could even imagine is a person. The only thing about it that is at all strikingly human is the fact that a quarter of the face remains. From the nose to the rightmost eye is all that is recognizable on the last pit of this pile of flesh and viscera, which is splattered gloriously over a 10-foot square with claw marks and paw prints in the pile and like pools of blood. Meat thrown into different corners, shredded bits of skin like sprinkled around like confetti, organs gone, bones and rib cage cracked and broken and stepped on to the point of being pulped. Like this is the most gore shred you have ever seen in your life. The only other thing that you could imagine like this would be something that Dee Dee had done, but you did not see anything Dee Dee has done. But it shocks you to your core, and you are going to take. We're going to see here. Oop. You're going to take 10 stress damage.
Ooh.
Ooh. And that just goes in like regular HP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Stress is a category of damage, kind of like psychic damage.
Whew. Jeez. Not good.
That's a
Mhm.
third of her health. Over
Yep.
a third of her health.
Hmm.
I did roll max damage. It was 1d10 worth of stress damage, and you just got super unlucky. Which does
Man.
track.
That does track. Considering I rolled a nat 1, I rolled a fuck, and that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, Paige is
I think
I will leave it up to you whether or not you scream or go completely silent in catatonic frozen fear.
Here's the thing: if she goes catatonic in frozen fear, something happens, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make my own check for that. Sorry, what were you saying, Zell?
oh, I think it's possible that Hylas looks at Pierre, kind of coming away from the window and going, "Didn't you have a little one with you?"
Pierre turns
Unless
around,
remembering that.
and
Jotted
there
outline.
you can see the panic start to set in, and both hands slowly go from his sides to the side of his head. But flashing back to Willow, you see this one half of an explorer against this door with a key in the door. It doesn't look like there's a hell of a lot of weight blocking it anymore.
Willow
What
just
do you do?
grabs at the key, and I imagine let me check. I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's still single digits. Oh, very low single digits. Just kind of kicks at the body a little bit, trying to get it off to the side. She's not strong enough to move it herself. Just get and starts trying to fumble with the door, trying to get it open. Because I'm assuming it's a key to open the door.
Mm-hmm. You unlock it. The door comes unlocked, and immediately it's just kicked open. And on the other side, you see Lorelei. And then you hear a distant yelp.
Everybody else hears that. Willow doesn't.
Willow doesn't hear a yelp. From the cumulative stress up to now, Willow, take let me see here. I'm gonna roll for it. Take 2 stress damage as you have been low key. You rolled 2 basically will saves yourself. But you open the door, and in a moment of relief, you see Lorelei standing there, and she is surprised, confused, relieved, and then she looks down and sees the body, and she's just like, "Oh God."
That might be an understatement.
She looks back up to you and shakes her head and kind of psychs herself out of it, and then will hug you, and then she hugs really tight, and she's shook up really bad, and she opens her eyes a little bit, and she sees Eden over your shoulder and just goes, "Oh my God, you lived! Oh my God, you fucking lived! How did you live?"
Willow is hugging just as tightly, is not letting go.
Aw.
Aw.
And she said that to me.
Yes.
It would take a lot more than a couple of vampires to kill me. They need at least another pack or 2.
Well, to be fair, she also got a little bit of help from Gunslinger, which I don't know where he's gone to.
That as well.
Lorelei,
Are you alright,
she shakes her head a little bit. She just goes, "Not all right. No, everyone's fucking dead. This expedition is a complete flop. But at least you survived. And at least you're here. But why are you here? What led you here?"
Oh, that is a very long and winding story. I think would probably be best described somewhere where there are not vampire bears wandering around.
Maddie and Aang, you both hear the scream and immediately dart off. You round the corner and see the gore shred pile. Pierre's going to run. Oops. Get ready, Hylas, because he's gonna start the Pierre NPC slide.
Hell yeah.
Well, what you can't say.
Too slow.
Look
How
him
do you
go!
do that?
All
Pierre bursts
all
into a
three
full
of you.
sprint. Hylas is doing like a speed walk.
Maddie and Aang, as you are running this way towards the scream, you can see that there is a blood trail. The blood trail from this person goes through to this pile into here and then goes down out this way. The blood trail that you had seen earlier. So the door was already open. And you burst in, see the gore pile. You see Paige, who's freaked the fuck out. Pierre sees Paige, who is freaked the fuck out, and then gets freaked the fuck out himself. And he will take. Yeah, that tracks. He will also take a good chunk of damage.
Ooh,
Really
my
stand
boy.
out here.
The Frenchies are having a good time.
He runs up and like skids on his heel, and then will grab Paige in a hug and like push her face and his face away from it.
Yeah, imagine her eyes were locked on it. And she kind of has like a gloved hand clamped over her mouth and face, and there's just blood trickling from her nose onto her pretty pink glove. Oh no, it's ruined now.
I think Hylas is gonna look at both of them and look at the viscera. And I don't know, there's sort of a blank look in his face as he's processing what has happened. To
Roll me a
Paige.
will save, Hylas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thoughts going around in that little cowboy himbo head.
Yeah.
Affectionate.
Whoa.
And
Pretty bad for me.
so
Better
there's
than a one.
there's something that you have like there a thought that pops into your head, Hylas, as you look over to the pile. You blink for a second and you think your eyes are playing tricks on you. And for a second, that pile. Have you ever seen a painter's palette? Like an acrylic painter's palette?
Yes.
That pile looks like an acrylic painter's palette sample of like red paint. It's like a smushy lump of red stuff. And the way that the scattering and movement of clawed and pawed feet dance around in the blood and viscera puddle, it makes it look like someone was mixing paint. And it's just a weird thought that you have that kind of dissociates your question, or like makes you dissociate for a moment.
I think yeah, he dissociates pretty hard for a second there. How bad is the will under? Like, can he take actions in response to this?
You'll snap yourself out of it after you realize you got a little bit of a nosebleed. You will take 4 stress damage.
Okay. Do I go into my character sheet to do that? Is there an easier way?
I can do it right here. Take that.
Oh. Thanks. Ouch.
Oof, ouch, my bones.
Roof.
I think he does have a very clear plan of action now, which is dissociating really hard. He sort of brings his hand up, wipes away some of the blood, puts his hands in his pockets, and just very casually but briskly exits the room.
Can Aang search the blood pile for, survival reasons? Just like, hey, what could cause this blood pile? Is this a vampire blood pile, or perhaps a different
Mhm.
sort of blood pile?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I was going to say, can I interest you in survival? But they're about the same, actually.
You could do either if you like. I'm totally amenable to you rolling survival additionally.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Not additionally, in it.
As soon as she starts
an
poking
option.
around that shit, the page is taking Pierre and she is leaving.
Mhm.
That's a good idea
You
Hylas
say
had.
Paige is taking Pierre. Pierre is taking Paige in just as equal measure.
What the
All
fuck?
right.
Okay, you know what? He wins it. He wins, actually.
All
That
right.
strength competition.
I rolled a 19, so that'd be a 24 survival.
19. What does Maddie
24
think
total.
of this? Or a 24 total.
Well, Maddie ran in here thinking there was some sort of danger, and I was like, "Where's the enemy? What's the problem?" Kind of thing. And then kind of, it takes a second to trigger her to think like, "Oh yeah, she's okay. That makes sense. She's not used to this kind of thing." She tried to get in front of both of them. She's kind of small too, but she's still bigger than Paige. And she tries to kind of get in the way and block the view.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little sympathetic, but she was knowing there's no enemy here that to worry about. She's more worried about Paige and Pierre.
I love that Paige is leaving a fucking blood trail.
Oh shit.
Here's two.
So is Pierre. Yeah, they're both leaving fucking blood trail. She's gonna
I
go
love
sit
this
down.
mod so much. Pierre will sit next to her.
Okay, you found
What
the
does
Lorelei.
Maddie think as like Pierre will give like before they leave, Pierre will give you like one good pat on the shoulder to that's as much as he can muster as a form of thanks before he and Paige both like hustle out of the room right behind Hylas. What does Maddie think as she gets that from Pierre and then turns to see Aang sifting through the gore? Like, is she using her hands or is she using like the tip of her scythe?
I imagine that she takes her gloves off and uses her hands.
And what are you doing?
This body seems to me a bit different than the others. I thought I might see if 'twas the work of a vampire or not.
I imagine Maddie like again walked them out, but then was standing here talking to Aang and then moved over. It's like, what do you mean different? She'll kind of look back, close the door so there's not weirdness going on.
Mhm.
And she'll move over next to Aang, like, what do you mean? Kind of try and figure out what Aang is saying.
Well, what has Aang discovered?
Best you can tell, something about this dude was with a 24. Something about this dude was not appetizing to the vampilfs because he was not eaten. He was torn apart. Like they were looking for something edible.
If I taste some of his blood, can I determine what that is?
Only if you put yourself at risk to it.
Oh, that's interesting. You know what, Joe? You always go for my dumbass GM gambits. Fuck it.
Mhm.
Let's go.
That's what we like to see here.
Aang starts sifting through and then like her hand is now slick with blood as she's been trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. She narrows her eyes slightly. He was torn apart, not fed upon. There must be a reason. And as she says that, she brings her bloodied hand to her mouth.
Roll me a fortitude save.
Is this a poison?
No. Sorry, I'm laughing at the result.
Okay.
Roll me a fortitude save. It is against disease, if that matters.
My immunities are to death effects, so you know, I guess Aang can get diseased.
Mhm.
Let's see. All right, that is a 16, and my fort is 1, so 17.
17. You taste the blood, and it tastes sour. It doesn't taste. It something's wrong with it, for sure. But you don't know what. Now roll me a d4.
Okay, love that. All right, D4, 2.
2? Okay. Amy, I need you, note taker.
What's up?
Can you make a note for, like, it doesn't have to be end of session note, but just a note for me to remember that Aang rolled a 17 on a fortitude save against tainted blood and then rolled a 2 on a d4.
As Aang tastes the blood, her face scrunches up and she sticks out her tongue and then licks the hem. Like licks the nearest cloth thing she can to try and get the taste off. I imagine that's like the inside of like her, the wrist cuff, whatever the
Mhm.
shit. She scrunches up her face and then just sort of shivers. It tastes sour. There's something wrong with it.
Hmm? I mean, Maddie like tilts her head and is like confused. Like, what? What do you mean it's blood, right? And she'll take a sniff. Like I don't expect anything, but like she'll try investigating it herself. She's
Go
not
for it.
going to eat it though.
Roll
I'm
me a
telling you that
perception
now.
check.
Okay.
Disappointing. On a 10, you get
+3
close to it,
or 2.
and
Sorry.
say what?
The imprecise scent, right? Is a +2.
Yes, effectively.
Yeah.
But when you get down close to it and take a whiff, what it's you are bombarded with like stink, and it's not an unidentifiable stink. This is vampilf stink. This is like old, sweaty, leathery hide and hair and claws and like other like dried viscera and blood. Like you are assailed by the wretched smell of them because they were digging around in this dude's corpse. And not only is the smell of viscera like already pungent, but like they sifted around in it and threw it all over the place. Like the scent is thick, and trying to whiff out a particular like thing about it is very difficult. Also, pause really quick.
Hmm.
Well, we're having
Sickly
fun here.
organs.
What a wonderful, wonderful.
I feel like how a disease affects Aang will be a subject of fascination for Willow. But you don't have any organs, what?
I'm sorry, Aang doesn't have organs?
No, Aang doesn't have organs and she doesn't bleed. She doesn't have any blood. She's completely hollow on the inside.
Oh, okay.
She's got like brambles in places, and that's about it.
Interesting.
There's another Aang fact for you.
I learned so much about Aang. Like every day of my life that I'm with you people. I am learning Aang facts.
You knew about the stigmata already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Claire just got home.
No worries.
Hi,
Hey.
Claire.
Everyone says hi.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, everyone. Like how you just have butt plug right there. Did they hear that?
I don't know.
No, it's on Discord.
I know it is.
Not actual butt plugs.
I'm gonna mute.
We heard that.
I thought I misheard the first time. I thought I misheard. I was like, there's no way they said that.
There's no way.
Happy for you, Joe.
Winnie has been waiting for Claire.
This is why Claire should show up in the background more often.
Mhm.
Good night. Okay.
So
Mhm.
about them butt plugs.
Yeah, what's up with that?
All right, I'm gonna post a screenshot so that
You're trying to
Screenshot
beat
of
the
it.
allegations.
Please
I'm
do
not
post
just
a screenshot
looking at
of your butt
stuff.
plugs, Joe.
What were you looking at, huh?
I was looking at Discord in another in Claire's Discord.
Anime accessories.
Anime accessories.
Men home accessories. Male
Men
game room accessories.
accessories.
Oh. Well.
Those are 3D printed.
You know what?
Hmm.
We're
Amy,
gonna
how
move
can you
past it.
tell
We're
that
gonna
they-
move past it.
Yep. Anyway,
Anyway.
Anyway.
flashing back to Willow and Lorelai and Eden.
Having their lovely reunion.
What was the last thing Willow said? Or Eden? I can't remember what was last said.
It was the how are you survived,
Mm-hmm.
and there was that exchange, and then it was like, why are you here? And Willow's like, that's something we need to discuss when we're not in a place like this.
In the
Well,
meantime, why did you come here alone? You should have ran back.
I couldn't run back. I was running for my life. I was running with the crew, and, well, Harold led the way. We ran in through this place and shut every set of doors behind us, but it didn't seem to slow them down even a lick. We ran into that tower where the doorway was a little bit narrower. I saw this other door into this shed area, and I tried to get them to come into this area. But in the indecision time that they took to discuss whether or not we should do that, the door burst down. And so, two of us ran. Harold got caught. And then as I was running here, one of them shoved me inside and closed the door. And then locked me in here, and then had the nerve to fucking die on me. And she kicks at the corpse, which causes innards to slough out, which causes her to take a step back and like, ugh.
Were you only being chased by the vampires? Or something else?
She wipes her mouth a little bit and she gestures to the corpse and just goes, "Can we please move that? It's nauseating seeing a face that I was having a conversation with be that way." Dee Dee will happily jump out from behind you, Willow, and just be like, "I got it, sweetheart. Don't you worry about a thing. I will take care of you." She picks it up and will
Carry it around a
carry it
corner.
away. Do, 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 do.
Willow just like looks, blinks, decides it's not worth it, gives a little nod. Thank you, Dee Dee.
Lorelai looks. She looks at in the direction Dee Dee went, then looks at both of you with concern, and just goes, "Usually, people on that ship would use their bare hands to move a body, or what's left of a body, but I'm not going to ask."
Yeah, that actually might be for the best.
And she rubs her forehead, like two fingers on each side of her temple, and just goes, "You make it sound like running from the vampires was not that big of a deal. But to your point, or to your question, yes, it was just the vampires."
Yeah, we've killed all the ones that were after Eden, and kind of gestures towards Eden with a nod. And we killed 2 of the larger ones here. I vote that turning around and going back in the opposite direction is probably one of the better ideas we could have.
But I just got here. I just got here. This entire site is hundreds of years old.
Lie, I am interested in this place too, but we should at least get another explorer contingent before returning. It's not
As
safe
we,
for just the 2 of us.
if we go back, we'll have to trek back out this way, and God knows only more how quickly vampires can fuck out a new pod.
I still think it's for the best. While I am confident in my abilities, I am not confident in my abilities and also protecting you.
She like she looks at you and like uh push like her eyebrows pressed together in this kind of pleading face. And then her face quickly turns into kind of a grumpy face, and then she stamps her foot. She just goes, "Oh, let me just explore a little bit. I won't even go downstairs, even though I really want to go downstairs because this entire structure is at least 4 layers deep."
4 layers,
Lie,
you
but
said.
I've plenty of chance to come back.
She nods and gestures to the banks, like completely glazing over, like, "Chance to come back." She's like, yeah, okay. But she gestures to the banks and she just goes, "You can see there the different layers of sediment. Some of them, if they peel back a little bit, you can also see some stonework. Like this entire structure used to be much taller."
And Willow kind of like follows her gesture and is like staring out at the water. And you could see a frown, but the gears are turning. And she sees Paige, finally takes notice of Paige and Pierre like huddled over on the side. And looks at Eden, who still looks fucked up. And she just kind of sighs. Well, does seem like it would be an interesting place to investigate, but if nothing else, finding a place away from here to make camp and recuperate would be bare minimum of what would be advised. Several of our members are injured already.
I did not come out of that unscared, Sly.
Lorelai crosses her arms and she looks you up and down. I can see. I'm just glad you came out of it. She gestures to the blood splattering just all around. Not many of us came out of it at all. I'm lucky, and they shoved me into a glorified boat closet. I was at least able to make a campfire. Not that it didn't make any good. All it did was make the room smoggy and make me have a cough.
Will kind of peeks around her into the boathouse a little bit more. Her eyes kind of narrow.
There's a
Yeah.
very dinky looking campfire that has it's been put out at this point.
Now, if this place is defensible, kind of looks towards Eden. Well, it might be worth trying to set camp here if we have to.
If
She
there's nothing else
gestures back to it.
available.
She Lorelai jumps on that immediately and she gestures. She just goes, "Did you see the parapets, the little windows? This is clearly some type of maybe ancient fort or some maybe like a sea battlement. It could have been a component to a much larger piece. It looks like a lighthouse, but it might not be."
Just senses Dee Dee coming up behind her and looks over her shoulder at Dee Dee, looks her up and down.
She's a little bit bloodier, but it's hard to say whether that was from carrying the corpse or not from that.
There's just a kind of narrowing of the eyes, not angry, but in consideration. All those rules in place, and yet you still eat fairly well with us.
She shrugs. Y'all are just so generous, I must say.
Looks back to Lorelai. Oh, we can discuss staying here. I believe it'll be more of a decision of the hunters that we are with.
If you're worried about defenses and maybe she gestures to Eden. If you're concerned about all the entrances, and she gestures back towards the door, and the windows and everything, she goes, I know for a fact that building over there, and she points to the one over here. That building has the least number of doors and no windows. It's just a stone box. Don't know what the fuck it's for, but it's certainly intriguing. It's a shame the roof collapsed in on that lower part. You could stay in there.
Alright, but you are not leaving that building once we go in. No sneaking off to go look at other things.
You can see the giddiness build up in her, and she starts to get excited, and she contains herself. She goes, I solemnly swear, and she holds up 3 fingers like Scout's honor.
Looks at her other hand to see if they're crossed.
She pulls out her other hand and then holds out all 5 fingers separated. She goes, and wiggles her fingers and just goes, promise.
If you're lying, I'm knocking you out and dragging you back to Tenlock myself.
No, I don't think you're going to be knocking out my sister, thank you.
Done it before.
Lorelai just rolls her eyes and just goes, come on, we've got some ruins to explore. There's already been enough. And she sees Paige and Pierre kind of consoling each other. And she turns and says a little quieter, there's already been enough loss and death. I just want to learn something, and explore some ancient ruins. Is that too much to ask?
Willow just kind of huffs. I imagine like throughout this entire like exchange, she has either had her like arm interlocked with Lorelai's or like arm around her shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and so she has like kind of been turned with Lorelai moving, and just shakes her head. Oh, sometimes I don't know if it was me or you that was the worst influence.
I like to think that we helped each other. Also, you have to tell me about all your friends and how they fought a bunch of vampires and why you're out here in the woods at this ruin site that I had to plan weeks to get to come see, and you just wandered out here. Do you know how much paperwork I had to do? And she's like holding your hand with one hand, and he has her other hand on her hip. And she's like cocked, slightly annoyed. Like, did you have to do paperwork to get out here?
Well, see, that is the beauty of being invited by hunters. Hunters don't know how to fill out paperwork.
She huffs.
And with that, like, Willow will like, oh, yeah, and will turn and look towards the door that seems to just now be opening. Vatican!
Heads. She was just standing up with that horrid stench, like rubbing her nose, like, oh, this shit out. Oh. She hears her name and she turns like, yeah, what?
We would like to go into the other building. Might be camping here. You're the ranking hunter now, so I suppose it is your decision.
Wait, hang on. Kind of moves back. As long as Aang looks like she's
Aang,
also.
this is now over the amount of people for Aang, so she's staying put.
Oh,
For the moment. Wait until Willow is done talking to Matt again.
One sec. Hey, I'm gonna be like right back, okay?
Right.
So.
Ankarod, if you like me, you'll like my sister.
There's a pause, and from the back of the door, there's just like Aang's softly glowing eyes and somewhat bloodied mouth. And she just peeks out.
Lorelai like isn't looking at Aang, but she's like, she's still holding Willow's hand with one of hers, but has her other hand and is like tapping at her chin in like a thoughtful gesture, and she just goes, Angharad, Angharad, is that Welsh? It sounds Welsh. I found a textbook on Welsh history. It was written. It's so hard to pass that language. I had to do it by hand. It's like solving a really long cipher puzzle. It was quite fun.
Aang does in fact speak Welsh. All right, let me see. How about I roll this?
Like friends.
Yeah, let's see if she can get over her fears, though. I'll make a will save to see if she's emerging, or if she's staying behind. Let me just double check what the DC is. Revulsion. Christ, it's 25. Okay.
It's that high?
It's that high.
I'll say for this group, because it's not like a whole crowd of people, I will say it will be DC 20.
Okay.
Or actually, I'll do 18. I will even do an 18 because you have Lorelai, who's like way easier to grasp.
I have terrible news for you, Joe, and that is that I rolled a 1.
Oh God.
Which I think means that Aang is not just not coming out, but that she's going to go up the tower.
Wait, Aang, don't. We gotta stay together.
Aang like peeks her head out, tries to figure out if she can get out there, and she's just, even though there's a reasonable human part of her that wants to go out there, the animal still remembers all of the things that were done to her with a crowd like that, and with faces overlaid. For the moment, her fear gets the better of her, and old reflexes kick in, and she's just going to climb up. She's going to get on a high perch where she feels safe.
Mm-hmm. There's that moment you mentioned it, like where you poke your head out and eyes and heads turn towards you, and it's like all of them lock onto you, and they're not so close together that it's like a mob yet, but it's the moments before they become a mob, and that fear set in quick.
Yes, she's bolting upward.
I imagine Willow hears the stumbling words of Maddie and sighs and just points towards the door and looks at Lorelai. There is a adjacent creature we are traveling with, as long as a weirdling. Looks over her shoulder at Dee Dee, kind of tilts her head, and her free hand just kind of side to side kind of gesture. Also Fey adjacent. Human. Points at Paige and Pierre.
Dee Dee, like Dee Dee looks, I imagine it's once you point at Dee Dee and do the Fae thing, she does the what, I forget what the show is called, but like the old show from like the 80s or 90s where the one woman is like a genie or something and she has a little nose wiggle.
Oh,
I
Bewitched?
Bewitched Genie?
Yes, thank you. She does
You have the
she
gif
does,
of
like,
it? You didn't
so
know?
it's really easy. It's really easy to just, because I knew it had something to do with genie, so I just searched genie nose. But she, like, Dee Dee looks at you, Willow, when you say that, and then looks at Lorelai and does like the little nose wiggle scrunch of sass, and then Lorelai just goes, "You absolutely owe me an explanation. I want to know everything that happened, what all of this is, how you got to play around in it, and how I wasn't invited."
Oh. Nothing else, you're invited now. And you get all of the stories over the campfire.
She nods, very much like firm, and then she looks at Eden and just goes, "And you, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're okay." And she takes a free hand and will clasp your hand.
Yeah.
And she presses like her forehead to your shoulder. And it's sort of like a hug,
Yeah.
but not quite.
Yeah. Glad I got to you in time, though.
Maddie, when you walk over, Dee Dee will whisper to you and say, "Do you want me to go talk to Ken? She looks like she's having a hard time." Maddie?
You can leave her. She just needs some space. Oh.
Dee Dee looks nonplussed at this and just goes, "Suit yourself. If she asks, it's your idea." And she's going to take a step back and then merrily skip over to, you know exactly where she's going.
I love the path you're taking to get there. Hylas this whole time has been staring into space, kind of like pretending to be keeping up with the conversation just over yonder. I think anytime anybody kind of like looked over his way, he put on a big smile. But for the most part, he's just leaning against this wall, arms crossed.
Dee Dee
seems
skips
a little-
over.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It seems like he's a little bit unsure what to do, where to put himself.
Dee Dee will skip over. Make me a will save.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever you say, boss.
Look, if you get her to go talk to Aang, you don't have to be tenderized.
So, what did you just say? You said like he's not really sure where to put himself.
Yeah.
Was that the way you described it? Yeah. Dee Dee walks up and Hylas, you don't notice you don't like feel anything happen to you at all. But Dee Dee walks up and you see a slight twitch of the brow and a slight curl of the lip. And she smiles and just goes, "Hey, you look a little out of place feeling." I get that. I get that a lot with this group too. And she reaches into her cleavage and she will pull out a pack of cigarettes that has a little blood stain on the carton. She's like, "I found these on that dead man. You want to share one?" She flutters her eyelashes at you.
Is she holding out the box to him?
Yep.
Like offering him to take one?
Yeah.
He seems between doing the polite thing, and just sort of yes-anding. But also,
what is he thinking?
What does she want me to do with this?
In almost in direct response to your thoughts, Dee Dee will look at your hand and then look at the box and then look at your face, and she'll reach out and take your hand and lift it up, put it on the end of a cigarette that is poking out of the carton or the pack, and then she will keep your hand there, like hold it in place, and then she will take half a step back and pull the rest of the pack away from it, leaving you with just a singular cigarette between your thumb and forefinger.
He nods slowly and I think he places 2 fingers on one end of the cigarette, 2 fingers on the other end, and he's going to rip it in half.
Dee Dee, she was smiling this whole time, and then you rip the cigarette in half, and then she immediately frowns, but it's not like an angry, upset frown. It's like a what?
And he kind of tilts his head and hands her one half. And he said, yeah, we can share. I don't know what you're going to do with only one half, though. He pockets the other one.
Dee Dee stares at you like fucking gobsmacked at this situation.
His
now
eyes quickly dart to the left, like he's not sure entirely that he did something weird, but then he smiles at her, trying to play it off.
Now tell me, is he thinking actively like, oh shit, I fucked up, she's on to me, she knows I don't know how to do cigarette? Does he even know what cigarettes are?
Somehow I think there's something familiar about them. But he can't quite place it. in this moment, probably no, it doesn't really occur to him.
Dee Dee will smile back at him. And then we'll give him a light punch on the shoulder and be like, you are something else. You know that? And she'll lean in and put a hand over her mouth, like kind of whispering to you, and say, like, I'll show you how to do it later. And she is going to take the one half that you gave her and tuck it back in the carton or the pack, smile at you awkwardly, and is going to skip away, for some reason, very pleased with herself. But she's going to skip back towards Maddie.
I think that interaction is possibly on par with the amount of unnerved he was looking at the body. He's going to go join probably not that direction.
I thought you were gonna say go join Aang at the top of the tower, away from everyone, and be like, "Hey, you two."
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome to try. She might be a little noodly in there, though.
Noodly?
Noodly.
You know what? I think that is where I'm gonna put him. I don't think he knows Aang's up there.
Yeah.
He's just like, all right, I'm out.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll here. For Paige's conscience, and yeah, no, she has one. So like Paige saw that whole interaction, right?
Yeah, you probably didn't hear most of the exchange, but you saw like Dee Dee pull something out from between from her cleavage, and then hand it to Hylas, to which Hylas broke it and then handed her half.
So before Hylas dips wherever he goes, Paige, who has been just glued to Pierre's side, has cleaned up her nosebleed via handkerchiefs. And she clocks this and she's like,
His expression, he is smiling, playing off the interaction he just had. His body language seems flighty.
Yeah. Debating on if Paige should tell Hylas what the fuck Dee Dee is.
So funny you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
When Dee Dee stepped off, I was actually gonna have Maddie be like, "Hey, Willow, we need to talk real quick," and basically have a conversation with her and Paige and Pierre, and be like, "Okay, the fuck are we doing?" Because I like basically discuss what we want to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Here in general or with Dee Dee?
In general, because like above table giving a quick rundown, Maddie, from Maddie's point of view, it's like, okay, your sister's safe, cool, let's go back to what we were doing, kind of thing. She can decide up to investigate these ruins. It's like, we kind of have something really important to do. And also, do you really want, should we tell your sister everything? Because that's a really bad idea. Because, like, there's a betrayer or whatever.
I thought the implication was a betrayer was a hunter.
Yeah, but still not good information to spread around, was Maddie's impression.
Wasn't the wording family? Eyes emoji?
More, it was family in the context of like your brotherhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you,
I will
I'll
say,
say, like,
number one, good luck trying to separate Willow from Lorelai at the moment. Like, just
Well,
body language wise, it is very clear that, like, when the two of them are together, they are, like, conjoined at the hip.
So can't even have a conversation kind of thing.
Yeah.
not one without the other.
Okay. Well, then if that's like that's the thing. If that's the case, then Maddie's suggesting me, okay, well, let's go back to Starwick then and get them to safety. Kind of thing. We
Deepfield.
have
Starwick.
something important to do. Sorry, not Starwick, Deepfield. Yeah, my bad. My bad.
You're good. You're good.
You know, get them back to Deepfield, somewhere safe, and then we can go back to what we're doing.
Lorelai would be more than happy to plug your ears and go la 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 la.
Yeah, see, Maddie knows that church now.
This is hold on. Yeah, unfortunately, it's Willow and Lorelai are the closest of the two siblings, so it's like, you know, she trusts Lorelai implicitly.
Huh.
And then with all of that, like, well, you're very clearly in a rush to go somewhere and get this done, and going back to Deepfield, that's just going to be wasting more time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
And
but
on top of it, the suggestion was just to at least spend the night here, because several of us seem to be injured. That's more than enough time to take a glance around.
mm, okay. Question to you, Joe.
Yes.
How well, because there is a bit of lore here that we discussed here. How well does Maddie know vampires?
Vampires? You would know
They
them
run
pretty
in
well.
packs. They
Yeah,
run in
they're-
packs, and they mass produce very quickly, right?
No. That was a comment by Lorelai wondering how fast they reproduce. Vampilfs typically don't reproduce very quickly. What they do, however, is easily transmit vampirism to the non-weirdlings. So they leave usually in their wake, if anything survived, it becomes a ghoul or some type of like or like a neophyte vampire.
So these bodies could come back alive. That's what you're saying.
It depending on the state of it, you would know for sure that the one that's split in half, that one could, but you could easily just pulp it.
Yeah.
The one that is in a gore pile, that one's not coming back. And any smears of blood that exist on the ground that maybe have body parts sticking out of them, also not coming back.
Okay.
The only one that's really at risk right now for potentially becoming ghoulified would be the torso that you saw earlier, but it's now conspicuously gone.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow, it sure is weird that you guys have two body disposal devices in the party.
Oh, title drop. Sorry, sure is weird.
We should get a guitar riff to go with that every time somebody says, wow, that sure was weird. You know what? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Maddie, to your question, vampilfs do run in packs. They don't reproduce typically very common. with each other, or very quickly with each other, but they do leave a wake of death where they do not finish a meal. If you wanted to know how likely the threat of vampilfs coming to chase you is if that's what you're curious about, I can answer that. Yeah. So from what you've seen, you eliminated a whole pod. A pod being like the term for a group of vampilfs. The pod itself typically consists of no more than 7 vampilfs, and you guys killed 6. And they never really stray that far from each other. At most, they're maybe like the distance you walked, that's about as far as they get from each other. The likelihood of there being one more, pretty low, especially given that they don't go off solo very often, if at all. So you're probably safe from vampilfs. There might be other things in the area that could come and come and try to cause problems, but like in general, you've stayed the biggest threat. You don't know what else is potentially in and around the nooks and crannies that this place has. Like obviously there were some spiders.
Yeah. And there's that thing down there that I see that's creepy.
Yeah, but you didn't see that, so you can't meta
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I see that, but Maddie
Uh-huh.
didn't see that. I guess. Okay, Maddie will.
I will also give you one other thing. Sorry, I'll give you an extra thing. You could ask, and I know this is going to grate on your nerves, but you could ask Dee Dee where the kid is relative to where you guys are now. Because you don't know how close you are.
I'm gonna roll for that. Maddie will ask it, Edie.
You rang.
Yes. How close are we to the kid?
Dee Dee takes a minute.
She's going to step a couple feet away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dee Dee will take a second and hold her nose up to the air and just kind of give a couple of very, very soft sniffs that are almost inaudible, but you can hear them, Maddie. And doing that light, just kind of dusting, sniffing the air sort of move, she like blinks. There's a look of surprise on her face, and she goes, "Well, shit, she's real close. In fact," and she sniffs, and you see her turn around. She was facing in this direction, like towards the south. And she starts to slowly turn until she kind of waffles between like looking at this direction and looking kind of over here. She's like turning back and forth, and she's like, she might be somewhere in here.
Wait, in these ruins?
She looks at Maddie, and you can see her appraising again, like looking up, tasting the air and sniffing. I reckon she might be. That's a strong scent.
I think Maddie will put her hands on Dee Dee's shoulder and get really close, like, this is not some, like, joke or trick or whatever, right? You're being serious here.
She, like, is a little surprised at the gesture, and then she'll reach up and take your hands off of her shoulders and just hold them in front of her. So she is holding your hands, and she just goes, "Darling, I'm not lying. I am bound to you by a deal made in good faith, brokered on your behalf as well as others. I'm pretty sure she's somewhere around these parts.
Maddie looks her in the eye and kind of like is I don't want to say she's doing an insight check, but she's essentially trying to just very like seriously look Dee Dee in the eye, and
Mhm.
she'll nod and be like, okay.
You can roll me a diplomacy check if you like.
It's not gonna be good, but sure.
Uh-huh.
Diplomacy, where are you?
It
Wow!
was good.
Damn.
So I will offer this to you, but if you have a better idea, you can pitch it. I will offer that Dee Dee will happily scout around to find a trail and come back. But she needs your permission to go scout around like the like area around here. Area being anywhere visually that you can see on the map from the top down.
Anywhere visually.
Basically like skipping around any of the rooms you've been in, the front, the little vestibule area, some of the grounds around. Oh shit, I didn't realize how they were going.
That's why I
Maddie
typed something.
You think what?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think Maddie, I don't want to say she's like desperate, but she's like hopeful, I guess is what it is.
Uh-huh.
And go ahead.
She will.
She'll take the offer.
This is not a bargain. This is for the record.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying
Okay.
she'll take the offer. She's like,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
fine. But if you do anything suspicious.
She holds a hand over her heart and holds the other hand up, and she just goes, I solemnly swear I am always up to good with y'all. Most of the time. And she shrugs and then will like give you a it's not a hard push, but she gives you just a very light teasing push. She goes, I'm just kidding. I'll go and scout around. I'll find a trail. And I'll be back here quicker than B.
I'm gonna roll one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she'll let her go.
Mm-hmm. Dee Dee will like do a very, very exaggerated curtsy. And then she is going to happily give like one last wave to Willow and then start to skip away. And she's skipping slowly, like very deliberately. And you can see her doing that thing with her head where she like cranes her neck and holds her nose up.
Maddie will watch her as she goes while walking back over to Willow. I think it would be great to spend the night.
You think it what?
It'd be great to spend the night.
Willow stares at Maddie, and then her eyes narrow. Looks Maddie head to toe. Yeah, well, you just found something that you're interested in as well, I assume. Look, Lorelai, you get to explore the ruins, and I get to tell you a story.
I feel like the whole time this is happening, there's distant Welsh wailing in the background.
Welsh screams ASMR.
She okay up there?
If she is actually making noise, then that's gonna fucking bring the sisters in. And you don't want that.
She rolled a 1. So she's not just scared, she's terrified up there.
Oh.
Is this a good place to pause it for tonight?
Yes. This will be, I will say that you guys can start to set up camp and we can end it with you guys set up camp.
Camp in here. Secure?
Yes. It's secure enough that your sister was locked in it for a few hours. But hooray, you did it. You found Lorelei.
Yay!
Now we will
Yay.
make the
And it
group
only cost
regret that.
everybody in her adventuring team.
Not everyone. Eden was part of it.
Most
And
people.
nothing of value was lost.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, those little things?
No, the yellow.
I was just trying to see how far 120 feet is, but I can't figure out how to delete it now. So...
Oh my.
Click the button. Oh, God! Oh, you can drag it.
I got it.
All right, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
I had to play